Court will come to order. It is Monday, June the 19th, 2023, 9 o'clock in the morning, and Kirk County Court is now in session for its first budget workshop. Before we dig down into the detail here, I'm just going to give everybody an overview. I know there are people at home that are watching this on YouTube. In the budget process, we have to be able to put all the pieces together, come up with a whole, and see what the whole is going to cost us. And for those of you that don't recall, when I presented my proposed budget back in May, my proposed budget, big picture, helicopter 10,000 feet, was right at just a hair under $50 million, which included a $10 million deficit. And it also included taking $10 million out of our fund balance, which is fairly healthy right now, and spending our savings in order to meet the budget. And I want to remind everybody what that proposed budget did. The proposed budget that I submitted was based upon a no new tax revenue rate. And that means that we would not raise our tax rate and be able to fund that budget. That budget included a number of things, and it did not include a few things. And I want to remind everybody what those are as we begin this process. It was essentially the same as the previous year's budget. It assumes no new tax revenue rate. It did not include any capital projects. And that's going to be important because the capital projects are going to be a big issue for this budget. And they're things that we're going to need to talk about and look at here at this court. It included a carryover capital projects for Encode and vehicle. It assumed that all positions will be filled. It did not provide for any new positions. It did not include any new positions. Those are to be determined during these workshops. It included a transfer of almost $1.8 million from the general fund to road and bridge for operations. And it did not include the KCSO incentive proposal. And it included a 5% wage adjustment for all employees. That's what we use instead of a COLA, cost of living. And it included the necessary increase in the property insurance premium, and it also included the debt service on the 2023 bonds. So that's basically what that budget did. We now have a recommended budget, and y'all don't get the big notebooks like we do. But the recommended budget at this point is for almost $60 million, about $10 million more than what I put in my proposed budget. When I say my proposed budget, it's an administrative recommendation, and it comes from me as the Chief Budget Officer of the county, working with the Auditor's Office. And so the recommendations that we've gotten from all of the department heads and the elected officials have increased the budget by $10 million. And that does not include the road and bridge capital, nor does it include the KCSO first responders incentive package.
Judge, it includes the road and bridge capital. It does not include their wage increase.
We're still grappling with those. So we've got the road and bridge wage increase and the sheriff's department wage increase that are not included in this new $60 million recommended budget. So you can see we expect this budget to increase by at least 5, 6, 7 million. I don't know. By the time we get those packages in here, we'll just have to see. Anyway, we have our work cut out for us, and so this is where we need to start. And just as a little reminder, during the last 4 years, going into this is my fifth budget that I've worked on, we have not increased the tax rate in Kirk County. And it is my hope and prayer that we don't have to increase it this year, but it looks kind of grim. And we'll just have to see what that's going to look like. A lot of that will depend on what happens in these workshops. The average amount of money in the budget that translates into 1 cent tax rate increase is approximately, and I'm looking at my tax assessor collector because this is where I got my information, it's just a hair under $500,000. So for each $1 million that we budget, that we have to raise the tax rate, for $1 million, that's a 2 cent tax rate increase. That's what that would be. And I just want everybody to keep that in mind as we start going through and trying to add up what we're going to put in this budget. So with that, let me go ahead and, I don't guess I brought in my agenda. Or yours. Let's go ahead and start with, and quite frankly, some of these are going to be very, very easy to deal with, and some are going to be a little bit more complex. So let's start with East County Court Law.
That's tab 427.
Let's see.
Thank you. Good morning. I have two, I think, very easy requests. The first one is the second line, court coordinator salary. Ashley just recently got a step increase to $49,754. The second request is on line, it's the one that says machine repair 456. Kelly's steno machine, to repair it, has increased from $550 to $766. Those are our only two requests.
Looks good. Any comments?
Those are built into what we're looking at here.
Yes. We're built in. Thank you.
Thank you. May I be excused?
Ms. Mandy.
Thank you.
Take what you can.
Thank you.
Okay, she left with the county court.
There's not any change in 428.
Okay. And that's the House Bill 66.
That's an old House bill, but yes, it's been around a while.
Then the health and insurance benefits. What tab are we on this one?
She was gonna pass out information.
So this is what was sent to me for our renewal. It does have a slight increase for the insurance for our medical. And it also shows a, I say huge, 4.2 decrease for the dental. And on that second part of the staple packet, you'll notice what my proposals are.
Which sheet are you going off of, Rose? This
So
one?
the first one, yeah, that's gonna be my proposals here.
Okay.
And it has on the very top, it has ER pays difference of the entire, and it has a total there. If you notice on the very bottom of the column for the medical, it has $58,657.44. That's what the cost would be if the county paid for all of the medical increase. If you notice on the dental, we would actually get back $6,901.68, bringing the total being $51,755.76. If the county picked up all of the increase, decrease, what have you.
And that's your recommendation?
Well, I actually brought 3 proposals to you. Okay, and the other one would be if the employee picked up a portion of it, and then if the employee picked up a portion, and then the county picked up a portion. And you'll notice the three differences in what it would be. So if the employee paid the difference, the employee would end up paying $21.74 a month for children. The employee plus spouse would pick up $22.88 a month. Employee and family would pick up $36.64 with no change to the county, with the exception of employee only. And that would bring a increase to the employer to $17,311.92. And the third one would be if the employee picked up $20 per tier and the employer picked up the rest. That would bring the county to pick up $26,007.60.
My preference is to stay with the first proposal.
The first one.
So the county picks up dollars. I mean, we've never asked our employees to pay a
An
portion of
increase.
their own insurance, and I don't think we should start that now.
And we do not have this in the budget, right?
Correct.
So this will be changing the budget. Any thoughts? This is just a reminder, we don't make decisions in the workshops. That will be done later. But this is where we have the opportunity to discuss it among ourselves and see where we think we want to land on this.
No shock things are going up, but it is a shock that the dental portion's going down.
Our increase is far less than, I mean, I do know the health side, 1.6% increase is,
I mean,
pretty low.
exactly.
So, you know, maybe that shows that our employees are either
They're not going to the dentist.
not going to the dentist.
So the dental that's been paid out has not been as much. The medical that's paid out has decreased as well, and so has the pharmacy. So it seems like either we're being healthier or we are not going to the doctor as much. So that was part of it, as well as the contributions going into it has also increased from last year.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer. Let's have on that one.
I'm assuming it's 497.
497, let's see. Okay, Ms. Sullivan.
I actually decreased my budget by about $700, so if you all have any questions, I'm here to answer those.
No questions, but thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Anything else? What more can we say? 216 district return.
That's 83.
Ma'am?
83.
83.
Good morning. I don't have any, there's a couple of changes actually. Our TAC insurance increased by $1,950 because last year my investigator, who is a peace officer, full-time investigator, was prorated, and my part-time investigator was not a peace officer. This year, My part-time investigator is a peace officer, and of course, my full-time is not prorated. So that's the reason for the increase of 1,950.
I think they're still having trouble finding
Oh, I'm sorry?
they're still
Okay.
trying to find those tabs.
I'll stop until y'all find it.
So it's in the back of the book where it
It says
says
increase in the
fund.
very back.
Yeah, towards the back.
Okay.
Actually, the third last, third or fourth from the back.
I've got it. Go ahead, Ms. Wilkie.
Okay, so our TAC insurance has increased by $1,950 because last year my full-time investigator was prorated, and he's a peace officer, and my part-time investigator was not a peace officer. This year, my part-time investigator is a peace officer, and of course, neither he nor my full-time investigator will be prorated. And then we also had an increase in phones. I think that's going to be countywide for our cell phones because the county has changed providers. It's my understanding it's going from 5-Star to AT&T FirstNet. That's going to increase our phone costs by $1,310. That's a total increase of $3,260 for those two items. But what we did is we looked to see where we could move from another line item to cover those two costs. And what we did is we took that $3,260 out of professional services. Professional services we use for transcripts on appeal, where the state has to pay for the transcript. For example, last week we tried a continuous sexual abuse of a young child case. The defendant had retained counsel. It was a 4-day trial. If counsel's retained, then we have to pay for that transcript. If we do any state's appeals, we have to pay for the transcripts, and those are also for translations. We have a lot of Spanish speakers now, it seems like, so sometimes we need translations. But since we didn't use all of it last year, we decided that we would take that $3,260 out of that line item instead of asking the county to give us more money. So that's the only change, just took money out of one line item and moved it to another.
It's effectively budgeted then.
Correct.
Right. Well, your expertise and experience obviously show here. We appreciate what you've done.
Thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Wilkie?
No?
All right, thank you.
Well, we're getting good report cards first. 216 DA forfeiture.
Oh, the forfeiture, okay, sure. So, of course, this is not, it is county money because it's not my personal money, but, so what we did is we just bought new computers. Our computers that we have, some of them are 7 years.
It's number 75.
Right, back.
Some of our computers are 7 years old or more, and we have a lot of cell phone extractions that we have to be able to access on our computer. Right now, we go to the sheriff's office lab to access those. So we have just ordered new computers for everyone in the office, but we're using forfeiture funds for that, and I believe that's going to come up later because we're paying for them this budget season. So we've increased our computer line item on our forfeiture budget to $8,000 because we also need new laptops. We have to be able to access things like the phone extractions and other things in the courtroom, and if we don't have good, strong computers, that's not easy to do. Right now, we can't do that through our laptops. So we will be purchasing some new laptops. We had Bruce order one for our investigator, and we wanted to let him try it out and see if that would work for us. It does, so we're going to order some more. Probably what we'll do is we'll order for the attorneys and let the staff have the attorney laptops that we currently have. We've also added some money to our software line item. That's to cover some software. We share the cost of some software for child pornography, phone extractions with the 198 DA's office, and that's our portion, so we've gone ahead and budgeted that. We've increased our meals and lodgings for travel as well as conferences for attorneys and staff and other agencies because in the past, when we've used money for these items, what we do is we just go, we're not already budgeted for them, so we have to go to the auditor's office, and I'm not sure how it's done. It's a budget amendment, correct? We do a budget amendment. So this year we decided we would budget. We do sometimes pay for other agencies to attend conferences. And sometimes, depending on what conferences we attend, it could go over what we budgeted. For example, this year, all the attorneys are going to Crimes Against Children Conference in Dallas. It's a worldwide recognized conference. It's an excellent conference, and we're all going, and that's in Dallas, so it'll be probably take out a lot of money out of what we currently have budgeted, so we decided to go ahead and budget it in the forfeiture fund.
Very good.
All right, thank you.
Next is the Ag Extension Office.
Commissioner, I just wanted to tell you, the front of the book is under Fund 10, which will see the departments have 3 digits. And then towards the back, it has the funds, which you'll see the Fund 12, Fund 13. So that'll make it a little easier.
And this one would be towards the front, 665. Probably closer to
It's kind of in the middle.
I got it. Ms. Fiedler.
Good morning, Angela Fiedler with the Kirk County AgriLife Extension Office. We had a few line items with increases, and we'll just go through those. Line item 315. This would be books, publications, dues, and subscriptions. This also covers our association dues. We are increasing that. QuickBooks is one of those subscriptions that we're going to be paying for now. I believe that's about $800 a year. So we had to increase that for that reason. There were some other subscriptions for resources that we were needing as we're growing our 4-H program and things like that. There were some judging subscription resource that we would like to have, as well as our association dues now that we have all 3 county agents in place, which we're very happy about. We want to make sure that we have money in there to do our professional development associations, and we have multiple associations. So that line item we have increased. Our next line item, did you all have any questions about that one? Okay, next line, I'm sorry, and I did not bring my reading glasses, so I'm not borrowing them for I keep thinking I'm young and I'm not. Okay. It's 331, that's the fuel, and last year we actually went over our budget on fuel. We know that fuel, it continues to increase, and our need to travel has not decreased, and we were wanting to ask for $5,000, so we've increased that by $1,000. Okay. Our next line item, 450, repairs and maintenance. This, we've had to increase our rugs from UniFirst. That comes out of that line item, and they go up every 2 years. So they haven't gone up, and so we are at that 2-year mark. So we wanted to prepare for that. So we went up some on that line item. 454, vehicle repair and maintenance. We are increasing that one up to $5,000. We went over our budget last year. We actually spent $5,000, and so we wanted to actually meet that need there. That includes that's also where our deductible comes out. If you were to hit a deer, which we had an agent that hit a deer, so that was $1,000 deductible. So. Not saying that will get used, but it's nice to have it. So we had to move things around and cover that cost.
Let me ask you a question
Yes,
real quick. How many vehicles are we talking about and about their year?
Sure, we have 3 vehicles currently at our extension office. We had our Explorer, which was new last year.
Right.
We have the van, 2008 van, and then we have the 2018 truck that we have. And so that also includes oil changes. That's where the Explorer lease comes out of that line item as well, and vehicle repairs. So we'll still have to pay for vehicle repairs for that truck and the van. And believe it or not, that van's doing really well. I think it just needed a friend in the parking lot. Just kidding. But yes, so that's why we've increased that line item. 461 is our lease copier. We've had to increase that because of our color copies have increased in price. We're looking at right now, we'll probably go over our budget on that for this year. So we have increased that to 4,100. Let me see. And Lindsay could give us the breakdown, but she figured it out herself. So, and then I believe my only other, well, there's two other line items. 485. Actually, no, we didn't go up on that. We stayed at 1,500. 570. This is also the capital outlay. That Explorer's costing $955 a month, so that's what that is. So we just want to make sure that we can cover that. So I'm sorry, I said vehicle. The Explorer lease was in 454, but it's not. It's just the repairs and things that we have to do, and any kind of maintenance that we have to do on that.
I believe what y'all are looking at for the lease is under 462. We've moved that.
Oh, okay.
That's
I didn't
our
have that.
vehicle lease.
Okay. So it moved up to 462 line item, 462, so we need to move that up there.
And it will be on the next one, probably.
Okay.
It's already been done, so just print a new one.
What
Okay.
year's that new Explorer that we got last year, or this year?
It was it's a 20, should be a 2022. It was brand new.
Yeah.
But also, it was just a little bit over $5,000 total, right?
Right.
51, 50.
The community glasses.
Anything else? Ms. Dillon?
So thank you.
Thank you.
We got how lucky.
I know. Preparing for next time.
I wanted you to be here just in case. Thank you.
Here's that tab
Justice McKee's
456.
precinct 2. What tab is precinct 2, J2?
456.
Morning, Judge, Commissioner.
That's
Towards the first third of it. 456.
okay. Looks like me, you just rearranged what you needed to in your own budget.
Yes, sir. Just $400 less in conference and training, which we're good with, Judge, on that. Plus, if it's appropriate to discuss the request for an increase for the hourly wage for our temporary person from $10 to $15. I don't anticipate any increase in budget for that particular year. I think we can absorb that pretty readily.
Well, if you can absorb that and keep the budget the same, you have no complaints from me.
Very good, sir. Thank you.
Anything else for?
This guy's always good, man.
And be sure to remind us about the pay increase when we finalize the budget.
It'll be done.
Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you. Road and Bridge. Which tab are we going to start with?
It's gonna be 612.
So you
And
have,
it's-
you have to go after Fund 14. So towards the back, you see Fund 14, and then it has the 612 Road and Bridge. So it's not gonna be in the.
Six 12?
Find it?
612 is where we're starting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay, Kelly.
Okay, I'll just kind of, I think the ones I'll hit are the ones that either went up or went down, and then there's a bunch that we kept the same, but on 205, the property liability insurance, we did not realize that we were to budget this. We got a hold of Rosa and HR, and we figured $18,750 would cover it. It was $15,000. So we got with her to kind of find out what was paid out. And this also includes monies for pollution coverage for the fuel tanks that are paid annually. 315, books, publications, and dues. We went up, it was 262. We put 500 in there, increasing due to CDL training materials, also for subscriptions to KDT and Hill Country Community Journal coming out of our contingencies for bids and things like that. But really the big thing is the CDL training that we've started to do in-house. That's for any materials that we need for the employee that's going through the training program, which, to kind of update the court, the first person that we sent through has completed everything, got his CDL, which is really, really great. I was telling Commissioner Harris that the DMV called our person in the shop that took on this project to see if we couldn't train in-house instead of having to send to a truck driving school that's probably $6,000 to $10,000. The DMV called him and asked if he would get a hold of KISD and Ingram ISD. They were having trouble getting things set up for their bus drivers. So Tony has worked with them to kind of tell them what they need to do in order to be in compliance. I believe they've been paying, I think, some fee out in it, but they're trying to get it in-house training. So there's a pretty good savings there by doing that. Like I said, we finally got the one that we started with. We got him through, and I think it was last week he did his driving tests and he got his CDL. So it shows that our program is working, and it also is a compliment from the DMV that they feel like we have everything set up the way it needs to be set up. So it'll be a good savings for the county. Uniforms, 316. We put a little bit more in there. It was $34,660. Boots, we haven't changed that amount. It's still $250 a pair. 7,500 plus in the new uniform contract. We're switching uniform companies. The one that we've been with ever since I started working there, the performance has really, really lacked. We get a lot of really dirty uniforms, uniforms that should be replaced. Last year when we had asked them if there were any budget increases, they told us that there shouldn't be, and we got socked with a 25% increase. Service uniforms, we're going to switch with them, and they have guaranteed that we would not have an annual increase of more than 5% a year. So we'll see how that goes. We want to make sure that we've got enough in there to cover the year. In our fuel, the current budget, $181,034. We added 5% for price increases. Remember, for us, we not only have the gasoline, but we also have on and off-road diesel. So sometimes, the gas prices may go down and the diesel prices may not change or go up. So we put a little bit more in there. If you do follow our budget, in the first probably 3 or 4 months, you usually don't see a whole lot of fuel usage. But come May, through the end of the budget, when we start up our seal coat program, that's when you really start to see the dollars come down, because we're running a lot of different pieces of equipment. Notices, 430. We added an extra $250. We're now bidding our road materials and fuel bids at 2 different times of the year. This will also allow for any rebids, like we had to do last Commissioner's Court for our crushed paving gravel. Equipment repairs, 450. This one I'm happy on because current budget is 220,000. We lowered it to 195. A lot of this is with our fleet changes and getting newer equipment in. We've got new supervisor pickups. Our costs should not be near as high on our repairs and things like that. So we did lower this. Our shop supervisor was pretty confident that those amounts should go down when we've got newer equipment, because we should be just doing maintenance on the equipment instead of a lot of repairs. And we'll get to the equipment stuff after I go through here. Inspection fees, $451. We lowered that. A lot of it is due to fleet changes. We got rid of a lot of equipment. Don't have to inspect as many pieces. I did hear that they're talking about getting rid of the inspection stickers maybe in 2025. I don't know if that will be for our stuff and commercial vehicles, but I hope someday maybe they do get rid of that.
I heard they're getting rid of the stickers, but they're still charging the fee.
Oh, are they?
That's what I heard.
462 will come back to, that is on capital lease payments. That's some of the handouts I gave you. 555 road base. We boosted it a little bit, 20% increase due to trucking. We'll need additional to complete road repair from Centerpoint Sewer Project. 556 concrete and cattle guards. We did have $11,777. We increased it to $16,000. We've got 3 to 4 cattle guards that need rehab, some on Honey Creek and Hasenwinkel. Guardrails, 560. We had 21,949. We boosted it up to 30,000. Last bid we received was $63 a foot. This was a bid we got for guardrail on Eagle Ridge. This amount will cover 476 feet, and it does not include Eagle Ridge for guardrail. The Eagle Ridge quote, I want to say, was about $98,000 for the area that the county engineer felt should be, the guardrail should be put. This does not include that. 570 we'll get back to, that's the capital outlay. 575 maintenance facility. We've had $40,000 in there for the past few years. We increased it a little bit to 50. This is improvements to existing new property that's behind us for road and bridge, additional fencing. Gates, we're having some gates put in, but there may be an additional gate that may be put in once we know where road and bridge is going to be on that golf course property. And possibly any demolition or removal of buildings back there, that house that's back there that used to be the little pro shop, and I think there's a couple sheds. 580, special projects, road reconstruction. We're currently at $350,000. We brought it up to $500,000. Bear Creek Road, it's 3.5 miles. It's something we'll have to do in 2 phases. And then we also will be concentrating on road repairs. Center Point wastewater project roads that were damaged pretty bad. This does not include 1.5 million possibly for Eagle Ridge. 599 contingencies, $50,000 increase from 30 originally budgeted for 22-23, additional of 20,000 for any unknowns, since we did not increase several line items. It's kind of our catch-all. If we fall short on something, we've been able to pull out of contingencies. And I think you guys are going to do the funds a little bit later, is that right? Tanya, Fund 22 and things like that, or should I go over those?
It's up to them
Okay.
either way. Charlie's next is what she's saying, and then she'll be back up here.
I mean, whatever you want to do. Charlie may have some things also he wanted to discuss, but this is out of Fund 22. The State Highway 27 drainage project.
Kelly, just a second.
Okay.
So if y'all would find the Fund 22, or the 22 marker. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's about three tabs after.
A little further.
Kelly's.
Blue one.
Down.
Check out it.
Blue one.
22 flood control.
Proceed.
Okay, this is on that drainage project for Highway 27. I think John Hewitt completed the engineering on it, kind of being done in phases. What got put in it, we confirmed with Charlie on this, the $1,259,036. It includes $250 for acquisition and surveys, $9,036 carryover from fiscal year 21-22 for Hewitt Engineering, and $1,000 as a placeholder for fiscal year 23-24. Hoping, or $1 million, I'm sorry, I said 1,000. They're hoping to receive a grant on the funding for this, but that is those 3 drainage easements that will help with the flooding in Center Point.
So Kelly, help me with the background here. Where is this?
There's 3 different locations. Charlie, do you know the exact? It's one Willow Bend, one
It's
is,
the highway department, highway department increased the culvert size when they did their work, and they blocked them off, because there's no place for the water to go. And it'll go pretty much just to the idea is anyway, to go just to the east of the place that's got all those old compressors stacked up. Right, kind of in that area, pretty close, somewhere in there, to get to the river.
It's several locations along Highway 27 where currently water backs up and then goes over the top of the highway to where you can't cross the highway or drive through it because it might be too deep. TxDOT has increased the culverts underneath, but there's not a drainage path once it crosses the highway to get to the river. And so that's why it backs up. Even though those culverts are increased in size, it's still a choke point right after. This is to make corrections to that.
Been an ongoing problem for a while.
This is on the south side of the road, past the airport, headed up to Martin Marietta.
yes.
Yeah, and it's also right around the mini mart.
Exactly.
Right.
Mini mart
Yeah.
floods pretty easily, and it's trying to get that water. Either has to go to Silver Creek. It's a creek right there on the east side of San Antonio.
It's Silver Creek.
Yeah, Silver Creek, or either has to go that way or straight to the river.
So it's kind of an ongoing project. I believe all the engineering has been completed. And it's just,
I'll get with you separately if I understand.
it's kind of a placeholder so things don't get forgotten in it.
That is, it'd be
We've been holding this place for years.
I know.
grant
Yeah.
funded, hopefully,
Yeah.
partially. On the flood warning system, 100,000 listed. Is that combining with what Kendall County is doing, or is that just a placeholder?
I think it's a placeholder. I haven't really heard anything about it.
No placeholder.
That's been some.
Because wasn't it
Yeah, wow.
UGRA, that it kind of started with UGRA and the advanced flood warning system, Charlie, am I correct on that?
That's correct.
And I think that they thought that they could get some grants. It's been a while, but I haven't really heard much on it the last couple of years.
I'm blanking, county engineer, county,
Rick, Tabulka?
yeah, Boca. Because my understanding is that Kendall County has a grant, and they're putting them all up Cypress Creek in Cook County. And, it's only on Cypress Creek, because that's what causes the problems in Kendall County, in their opinion. I mean, it's still the Wildwood River, because it backs up Cypress Creek, but anyway, I'm not sure where they are. I think they've funded, that's been funded and moving forward with their project out of Cypress Creek, mostly in County, which is great for us. but I'm not sure how they got that, so we need to find out what funding, what process they used to get that. On the Centerpoint project, is that the total amount, or is that an estimated our portion of the grant? The 1 million?
That is an estimate from 2 years ago of the total. I don't know what it would be now.
I mean, it seems that it makes more sense to put maybe, if we're gonna fund it, to put 1 million in a contingency fund that would cover a bunch of these projects, rather than have them all listed. I mean, we keep them listed out here, I guess. Rather, we really don't know on either one of those what it's gonna cost.
How you gonna list?
This is flood control contingency. Let's put $1 million in it and see where, or even less possibly. I mean,
I would say less. That's what I'm thinking, like 100,000, we just kind of.
Yeah.
Do we need a placeholder of 100,000? You know, also if this was 2 years old,
It'd be older.
that,
I think it's older than that. And if some kind of matching grant is determined by how much money is in this fund, and we knew that, that'd be different, but just to keep that money tied up there.
yeah, it's too much.
I think when Commissioner Mosier was here, if I'm not mistaken, I think he wanted to, I don't remember the amount, but he wanted to put a pretty large amount just to make sure that this project eventually would be done. And he felt that if we didn't, I don't really care where you guys put it, if you think putting it in a contingency, he just felt if there was a placeholder for it, kind of reminds you that this needs to get done. So.
This sounds like when I find something in my junk drawer I forgot I had. So we did, the amount, as I recall, was a compromise. He wanted more, like Kelly said. We put something in there as a placeholder. Nothing's happened with it. We have no evidence that anything will. Nobody's pursuing it.
Looks like a good place to cut to me.
I think so.
Now, we need to keep track of it, but reality with grants, which is gonna take, for either of these projects, is gonna take grant funding. And the grant takes at least a year to get. I mean, I can't imagine if we're gonna apply for a grant and get that funding.
Well, then there's engineering, I assume, that has to be done.
Well, I think there's money in the cap, we need the money for engineering.
Okay.
And for that, but maybe
What's the
it's,
nature of this repair? I mean, is this digging a ditch and a couple culverts to go underneath?
This is not the repair, this is something a little different.
the flood warning system is along the Wildwood.
No.
Yeah.
The other one is, buying right of way. We don't have any, that's the problem, we don't have a problem.
What this came from was a system that was not yet perfected, that would gauge the water flow and how fast it's coming and so on, and then alert us via cell phone. That was what he presented originally. I don't know, remember the particulars, who manufactured it, had run the testing on it. But
That started
about
before
all
I
it
was
was.
here.
It was an idea, really.
Well, we were looking at trying to, it became a big focus right after the big flood in Blanco. And that's what kind of got us raised up on everyone's radar. They put in a system, it's tied in Bear County, I believe. And we looked at it because we need it. It's hard to remember that we need it when we haven't had rain or flooding so long, but we will again. I'd recommend putting in like $250,000 for engineering for either of these projects.
And acquisition.
And maybe acquisition, something like that. So we start moving on them, but I definitely don't need 1.2 million.
No, that's a good $1 million cut.
Well, I've got a question. The auditor. On our budget summary sheet, okay, I look down there, I see flood control under the fund name, and it says $1,359,036. That's what's in the budget?
That's what's being requested, yes.
And so that's what we're talking about, adjusting with this bid, is that correct?
Down to 250, is that what I'm hearing? for
I'm
the
trying to clarify.
non-major part.
I mean, I think that,
For both of these projects?
We're not far enough along to be ready for construction.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we've been having a lot of conversations if we were, and we're just not. We're focused on the sewer project right now. We're focused on all the development that's going on in the county, and this has been on the back burner. So cutting it to 250 is very reasonable.
Well,
There's nothing wrong with that.
is it on the back burner, or is anybody even assigned to pursuing it? That's a different thing. I don't think anybody's pursuing this in any,
We would pursue it if we weren't doing other things right now.
that's not really even a back burner issue. It's just something that we might get to.
I think the other issue is that when it actually is time to construct, I think we're really gonna need some help from grants. And there's the regional Guadalupe stormwater
If
group.
anybody from the public is listening, they won't be able to hear you.
Gotcha. I think that we're not at a point where we're ready to go to construction anytime soon or in the next year. I think we've always been hopeful that there would be some grants available, and we were hoping those grants would dovetail nicely into 2024, and they haven't. So,
Is that something that Noel is actively looking for? Is she helping
no,
with that? You guys-
this is, we're hoping it would align with the regional flood planning group money that's coming out in 2024. They are in the process of putting together their final projects that they're gonna recommend, and Kerr County's not in that. So, these projects aren't in it. They would have wanted a cost benefit analysis and some other things in order to put it into a project category, so it's not in a construction category to them. We weren't far enough along.
And who's doing the cost benefit analysis? Or who would do it?
We would need an engineering firm to do that for us at the appropriate time.
what was on both those projects, what was the engineering cost?
Most of the engineering's done for the stormwater analysis. We know where we want culverts and drainage ditches to be constructed. We have an idea of how big, how deep, and how much it would cost. That's where those estimates came from. But we really need to get the property acquired is really the next step. I think once property is acquired, then you know for sure what your limitations are as far as how big, how deep, how wide a drainage ditch can be. And then it would be the appropriate time to do a final run-through with the engineering and cost estimates and cost benefit analysis to where you could try to make a project out of it and apply for grant money.
Well, where I'm coming from is, we have in the budget right now, included all that entire capital project, $1,359,000 and some change. We're talking about taking that out of the budget and putting a placeholder in at 250? Is that what we're talking about?
Sounds good to me. I would put less.
Well, if we're gonna acquire right of way isn't gonna be cheap.
I understand that, but if we're, again, my point is, if we're actively engaged, that's one thing. If we're just holding the place, then you keep that line in your budget. If you have to put more money in it, you put more money in it, and it sounds like it's gonna be at least a year. So,
But,
yeah. Most of the engineering is done according to Charlie, and I remember that. The
Right.
engineering study was done.
but the right of way hasn't been acquired,
I
and
know.
Charlie's saying that we can't move forward until we get right of way.
Okay, acquisitions, then you put in a reasonable amount for that.
I think we have 250 in the budget
250
right now.
is a reasonable amount for that.
That's what we've got. You're saying 250 for both of these?
Saying
Yes.
250 for that, and I would put in another 100,000 at least for engineering on the flood control or one of these projects. If we need to do the cost benefit analysis after you get the right of way.
Now, we haven't done anything because we can't afford it. That's the cost analysis.
There's two
The
projects.
benefit is that you save lives on the flooding. So we don't have the
But we're not,
technology.
we can't get it
to
into
afford
a flood, into the Region 11 floodplain until we get the cost benefit. It's a catch-22 from them, it's their process. We're not very much, we don't have much representation on the board. So, I mean, we've got to get the right of way first. And that's-
That part's easy to understand,
Right.
acquisition, so.
And if we're gonna decide we're not gonna do a flood warning system ever, but nothing. I mean, most of my precincts get it on Cypress Creek. Like Kendall, the county's paying for that. But there was, I mean, tell you, we get a flood, I can assure you that West Kirk County is gonna come unglued by us not having to, doing anything on a flood warning system. And I think, you know, we should do it. John Hewitt.
Now, what do you mean by that? We don't have anything now and never have had anything.
Yeah, we do.
So
We have a
what-
system right now and it's broken.
We have people go out and look and see if the water's up.
No, there's a flood system in there that's run by GBRA, I believe. GBRA, but a lot of the sensors were outdated and
Right.
broken.
Right. This was supposed to change all that, this thing that Commissioner Moser presented.
Right. And UGRA and John Hewitt did the engineering, and it was just, it's on the shelf now. So if we're just gonna say we're not gonna do it, we're gonna take the money out of the budget, but if we're gonna pursue it, we probably need to at least update that and budget for it. I mean, it's, you know, doesn't impact me much.
So what's your recommendation?
I think we'll put at least 100,000 in there for the flood warning system, so we can update the engineering and try to find out how we get the money, because Kendall County was pretty successful.
So let me recap, make sure I understand it. Right now, we've got $1.3 million, almost $1.4 million in the budget. And we're gonna take that out, and we're gonna put two placeholders, one 250 and one 100. Is that what you're proposing?
Yeah.
We're making a decision.
I say that
You're saying
if
let's-
we're gonna really pursue it. If we're just gonna keep money in there and keep talking about this next budget season, I don't see the point. We've gone through, this is third, maybe fourth budget season we've done this. If that money just stays there and doesn't get used for some other purpose, I don't see the point.
Are we including grant for 100,000 for the flood warning system as revenue to come in to offset that?
At this point, there would not be any revenue coming in.
Until we get
It's up to the court, I mean, the court doesn't want to abandon a flood warning system.
Eventually.
That's
we
a
have
very
to have
damning
one.
statement. I mean,
But no, but that's, I mean, you've got to put money in there to vote. We have a study that's, what, probably 3 or 4 years old. It needs to be updated, and then we can go out and see what funding we can find.
That's, again, I'm gonna say, if we're gonna be serious about it, pursue it, yes, keep the money in there. If we're gonna do this again next year and say, well, we didn't get around to it, then I don't think we should leave it in there.
Harley, I
Pay
think
something
we-
else with it.
I think we'd be serious about it by going this route, but we're still trimming $1 million out of it.
I get that, I understand that, but you can understand my frustration.
I
Haven't heard
yeah.
this as many times as I have.
Exactly. Before I
agree
even
with that, but I think that it needs to be, the new thing to me is that Kendall County was able to get funding. And I think that we need to figure out how they did that. And their funding is gonna help get part of Kirk County. Yeah.
Well, the other factor that I heard was that we've been distracted with the EDAP sewer project, which haven't helped us.
Well, we had
Hopefully that's
COVID
gonna
in
be
there
done
too.
here This summer. And maybe that frees up a little bit more time and attention.
And the other thing that's happened is that the state created the regional floodplain commission, which we had very little representation. And that changed the whole process, and we thought we were in good shape. We thought we were getting projects in it, and then they said no. Because we didn't meet their criteria.
We turned these projects in.
Yeah, we turned them in, and they said, no, they don't meet our criteria because we don't have enough engineering. Or cost benefit analysis. So, we just need to move forward on the flood warning system.
I'm for that, but I hope we can do better following this next year.
Oh, it sounded like maybe we need to get it on the grant radar screen before we get it on the construction for acquisition. Finding what our grant opportunities are.
Sure.
Sounds like we still need to spend a little bit of money on engineering being in a position to get it.
I agree. That's what you're arguing.
Right.
Yep.
You're saying 250 and 100 rather than million.
Or three.
Yeah.
Three,
Four.
four.
Yeah, four.
So we all understand the issue. We can discuss it later. Anything else?
580, road and bridge projects. We've got an area on Goat Creek, cut off a ditch that we were going to concrete on that, and just with being short-staffed and trying to finish up stuff with the East Kirk County wastewater project and roads that will need to be redone. This project has not gotten done, so it's carryover. And there was $2,108.37 carryover from Hewitt Engineering project for Sutherland. And we also had done the Fall Branch project that were completed in fiscal year 21-22. So this is that ditch that we need to concrete. Don't know if we'll get to it this year or not, but it's got an erosion issue and it needs to be concreted in. Is that correct, Robert?
Yes, from Windmill, the starting point is from Windmill down to the Main Creek down there. It's real close to the Mitchell River.
It's a problem.
Okay, what else, Doug?
Okay, the packet that I gave you all, if you go to the legal size piece of paper, the bigger one out of everything, this has got stuff with equipment. These are what we're hoping to get. The top one is purchasing, and the bottom one is based on leasing, based on a 5-year lease. If you want to purchase, you see the number, and if you wanted to lease, that would be the annual leasing cost for a 5-year period. I think we've discussed this before, but we've got a lot of really, really old equipment. Starts costing you a lot of money, some stuff 20 years old. I think we even have some 30-year-old stuff. We're trying to get rid of the old stuff, get new in, so you don't have these costly repairs. Some of the stuff you can't even get parts for anymore. So this is kind of the list of the things that we need to be thinking about and getting. So that's that list. Then if you go to...
Before we get away from this, this list that you've got here is year 2 of your long-term plan on replacing equipment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have a question. Your top list and well, the 3 items from Holt, are they the same ones on the bottom list?
Yes, sir.
So the brush, I guess the chipper and the brush truck is not on the bottom list.
No, sir. It's a specialty item where it's a unit where you have to buy the cab and chassis and then deal with another entity to purchase the bed.
So the chipper and the brush truck, those are not available to lease?
We can't confirm that they're available to lease.
And the thing is, especially with that oil distributor and the chip spreader, they have a lot of electronics in them, just like a lot of the big equipment. And you start having problems about year 4, year 5, is that correct?
I mean, that's correct.
With dust and dirt and so we kind of talked about it where we probably should be replacing that oil distributor and the chip spreader about every 5 years.
So those 2 would have to be purchased and the rest can be leased?
Yes.
Well, also the
if you notice on the bottom on the leasing side of it is the dump trucks. If we can upgrade our dump trucks and lease them, we can take some of the better trucks that we have now and repurpose them into a brush truck. So we would be able to utilize what some of the newer stuff that we have now. And when I say newer, you're looking at 5 or 10 years old. But that's the difference a little bit on the brush side of it is why there's a truck on the top and six on the bottom. We can shuffle a little bit.
When he's talking about brush truck too, this is the ones that have the enclosed top on it. So when you're shredding stuff and it's blowing into it, you're not blowing it all over the place, which we've done, not having something enclosed where you can keep that.
So if you bought the dump truck, you don't need the brush truck.
6 dump trucks.
Right.
Well, so if you get 6
If we
dump trucks.
lease,
Because right now, do we have 3 brush trucks?
There's 3 located there, yes.
Mhm.
there's 3 on our property, yes.
But you're talking about purchasing a new one new one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But you're talking about leasing 6 dump trucks.
Yes, sir.
And when we were making a little fun here, is there's 3, 2 of them are down, which are, later on, we're talking about, they are going away as far as whether it be in an auction or sale. Because of the clutches, they're gone. 2 of them we can't find parts for, different things like that. Those are some of the trucks that are going away.
The hard thing is on the ones that have manual transmission, it's hard to find people who can drive manual transmission today.
They're hard to find too.
What's that?
It's hard to find somebody can drive them, it's hard to find this transmission.
Absolutely.
So you got,
So
2
this would-
purchases and the rest you can lease. And are they available, Kelly?
I think some of the cat stuff, we've had pretty good luck. The international, I'm not real sure on those because we just finally got the one that it took us about 18 months to get.
Yeah.
We finally got it.
But it's gonna be the same difference whether we try to purchase or whether we lease.
Yeah, I think so.
Availability is the issue.
Kelly, last Commissioner's Court, we approved a purchase that wasn't on our original list a year ago that we approved. What did we have on our list last year, and what did we end up getting out of all those? It's, your high priority stuff. I wish I had this sheet from last year, but I
Wish I
don't.
did
We
too.
had, I don't know, 3 or 4 items on there, if I do remember. And how many of them were we able to get? And are they repeated on here?
We were able to get, Commissioner, we were able to get, I believe, 5 of the 6 items.
Okay.
And a lot of that was due to supply and availability.
Oh, I know that. Yeah.
And so we had to kind of be creative and fit our needs. If we were able to find a need, and everything that we purchased this year, we had to trade in.
Right.
We got rid of the older equipment, and that allowed us to make this most recent purchase. We had funds available. So.
My question is, as I look at the budget summary, we've got this $1,047,097 number, which is what you're saying the purchase price for those 3 Caterpillars and the brush chipper and the brush truck. Right?
Yes.
Now, you're gonna lease some things also, is that correct?
It's either or, isn't it, on a lot of it?
No,
No, it's not.
Not?
everything on the bottom is needed, and on the top.
Well, the dump trucks we're looking to
We could get rid of
use.
the brush truck, but we still need the chipper.
I believe if whatever we're able to get, that the court allows us to get this year, that will be the focus for the following year.
The one is a capital outlay,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
and that's the $1,047,000,
yes.
right? And now the other stuff that you're gonna lease, that's just going into your operations? Is that what we're funding that in the budget?
You're talking on the bottom one?
Yes.
That would go under leasing.
Both of these are included in the maintenance at this point in operations.
It is included,
It is included in the budget she has requested.
so we're double dipping, double counting right here, at least the 3
Caterpillar.
Caterpillar items.
Yeah, I thought we determined we buy 2 off the top list and lease the others. Makes the most sense to me. Isn't that, so that comes in at under $1 million.
So on this, is it the dump trucks that would stay under the leasing, and then is that it?
That's why I asked either or.
And then the chip spreader and the oil distributor? The
So-
other ones would be purchased, correct?
So the purchase is 230,000, the 1,047,000 goes to 230, and the 554 is the lease.
So you're at 785 too.
And then,
What
do
we
we
can
have
remember
surplus
is-
equipment that we're gonna dispose of and eventually get any money for?
Buy those two, and lease every part back. Buy the shipper and the brush truck, which is 230, and then we would lease everything on the bottom portion.
Everything?
Yeah. Subject to availability.
So we've got
So,
555 plus 230.
Yeah.
And part of that comes off of the, Tanya, the part that's leased would come off and would reduce the budget operations, and the part that's purchased would reduce the capital outlay.
Yes.
The part that's leased is in the budget, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the budget.
Yes.
And so we're just reducing the capital outlay by
so
whatever the difference between 230 and
Yeah.
1
800,000.
or 800,000.
We do have in our leasing budget the current trucks that we have received, and we're waiting on one truck, Robert's supervisor truck, but I think that was 140 that was put in on it. Mhm. So that needs to stay, those are 6 of the trucks are 5-year lease, and Robert and the shop supervisor trucks, I think at the end of the lease, we'll pay the $1, and those 2 trucks will keep a little bit longer, but the 6 others will go and get new trucks, so.
I didn't hear an answer to my question. If we go ahead with this, as we just discussed, will we have any surplus equipment available?
Yeah, I've got a list that,
Yeah,
that we're looking at. We have not surplus this yet, which would go through Tanya's office. We're looking at Garrett auction. I believe the sheriff's department has used them before. Don't know if we're gonna be able to get it done in this fiscal year, but for sure, next fiscal year, or maybe this, not for sure, but the items that we're looking at doing at the auction, we've got a tilt trailer, we've got a 200-gallon oil tacker, a 40-ton Load King haul trailer, a water truck, 1,500-gallon water truck, a John Deere 670B with 14-foot moldboard maintainer, an old GMC 8-yard dump truck, another GMC 8-yard dump truck, a GMC was a dump truck, we put a chip box truck on it, that's part of it. The Freightliner haul truck, a half-ton pickup truck, a John Deere tractor 5510 series, another John Deere 5510 series tractor, the single shredder, 8-yard dump truck with a side loader box and sander on it, a Neal 250-gallon emulsion trailer, a dual rear wheel Ford F-350 regular cab pickup, and a Chevrolet 2500 extended cab pickup is going to be on the lease, or the list for the auction.
Couple $100,000 probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't put anything like that in the budget. Would be additional revenue.
The revenues from this, because we've worked with Tanya on this, they need to go into the Road and Bridge Fund, correct?
They do go.
We're
into
not
the
allowed
Road
to
and Bridge Fund.
take this money and use it towards the equipment.
line item.
You can bring it in as revenue, and it will go into the general.
Which
I mean,
it
into
still
the
funds it.
Regular, maintenance and operations in Fund 15. If you're pretty sure of the dollar amount, if the amount you said was 700,000?
That's a 200,000.
Oh, 200,000.
That's just a
So, you know, you
wild
could take
west.
100,000 to offset it, and/or you would just indirectly, it would decrease the amount of transfer that is needed from general fund for this.
I'd say put it back in the road and bridge general fund, whatever they,
Right now, if you look at your master sheet, you'll see that Road and Bridge, with their budget as it is right now, is asking for an additional 3.7 million to come from general fund. And so if they increase their revenues 100,000, that 3.6 would decrease to 3.5.
right, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know, and on some of the purchases that we've done this year, we were able to do trade-ins because kind of like the automotive deal with the used cars, the values, pretty good values. I think that will start to come down eventually. But there is a little caveat on that, is it's got to be like items. So you'll hear Tanya making sure that it's a like item. So, you know, if you're looking to trade in a loader, you want to get something that's like a loader. If you're trading in for and this is state regulation, if you're looking to get a maintainer, you need to be trading in a maintainer. So they kind of have your hands a little held on it. We've done really well with some of the trades that we've done, but it's got to be like items. So.
2 of these don't equal 1 of those.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
Horse trade.
Yeah.
Well, I want to clarify with the auditor. We're going to adjust the number, I'm looking at the budget summary again. We're going to adjust that 1,047,097 number. And we're also going to adjust the 3.665 number, the 3.7 that's being transferred out of fund balance.
If you want to add 100,000 in for revenues for the sale of the items that she is going to put up for auction, it would increase your non-revenue, the 1.4 million you see in the second column, up to 1.5 million. And then it would decrease the $3,665,000 down to $3,565,000.
Question is whether we want to assume or whether we want to just move forward when the money comes in, put it back in the fund. In other words, budget for what's been requested and then benefit from whether or not she can get a good value for them or maybe not as good as what we would guess. What you're talking about basically cutting in half what your guesstimate is, right?
Right, yeah, I mean, I can't, I have a hard time envisioning that's not going to bring $100,000.
I agree with you.
I don't know about that.
And
This all comes to whether we have to increase taxes or not, so I think we should go ahead and at least
show
show
100,000.
100,000.
And it's probably going to
Way
be
too big.
double that.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Yeah,
maintainer.
exactly.
Does the maintainer run?
One of them, I believe, does. The other one.
You're a laugh over here.
The other one doesn't.
does, I don't know why.
Donnie, does RBU 22 run?
RB22 is in New Braunfels. It was a traded in unit.
Okay.
Traded
So
in.
the other one is what, 48?
48.
That's what we're talking about. And that one does run. So.
The maintainer that runs, I'd say 75.
It brings more than one that does.
I mean, look at the new ones are 400. Sure. I mean,
Yeah,
You can't make
that, the one we're talking about, I believe that's a 1994. The one that got traded was a 1984.
Yeah, 84.
Yeah, but either way, people will buy that.
Somebody will buy it.
So what is your guesstimate on what it'll bring in? Or-
What, that list?
Well, Commissioner, we have a list. We haven't surplus all these items yet.
Yeah.
We have a list of about 35 items.
Yeah. And so my question remains, what do you think you're gonna get for those 35 items?
I'd hate to guess. I would hate to guess, Commissioner, because whoever purchases them is gonna run into the same roadblock we are.
So see, that's why I don't want us to guess.
Yeah.
So I think
It was low. His guess is low.
We have a
I'd
couple-
still rather pay full freight and be surprised with a great little windfall later than than count on this and then come short of it.
Well, some of these trucks, the pickup trucks and stuff, the age of them, they're pretty old. High miles, some 200, 300, I think we've got one.
Just like
that-
all of us.
Yeah. That we really felt might do better at auction, because most of the,
Yeah.
for a pickup truck, they're not gonna give you anything. They're gonna take it over, probably over to the crusher and
Right.
put it into a square. So we really figured some of this stuff might be do better at auction. Because there are some additional trucks that have already been surplus pickup trucks that are in addition to that list that I read off. That has not been surplus yet. But when we're ready, we'll give it to the auditor's office for her to surplus. But just kind of a recap on some stuff.
Yeah.
What we've done, since this is going into year 2, like the judge said, as far as figuring out this old equipment. We've gotten rid of 16 pieces of equipment in year 1, 13 pending to remove. We've added 17 new pieces of equipment, and then that list that I read down that we're talking about doing the auction. So, in our 1-year period, we've unloaded a lot of old stuff. We still have stuff to do, but I think we're making progress. It just will be good to get some of this old stuff that costs so much every time it breaks. And with the newer stuff, we won't be keeping the newer stuff as long as we've done in the past. And that piece of equipment will still have good value left on it when you go to replace it, instead of trying to figure out how you're going to get rid of stuff that vendors don't want.
Okay, let me recap, Kelly.
Okay.
Of all the things on this agenda, we talked about road and bridge. We've not talked about county engineer. We'll come back to that after the break. Road districts. Can we talk about road districts?
It's number 20.
Okay. And we did talk about collection trucks, which is tab 22.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So is there anything else that I need you to present to us now?
Well, I do have the proposed increase for our CDL folks, and that's the 8.5 by 11 sheets that you will, that I gave you. There's one that kind of recaps what we're trying to do with those CDL people. We're trying to make it that we look a little more inviting to people to come and fill out an application and want to come and work for Road and Bridge. The 2 new employees that we have here right now, our shop supervisor, kind of was like a little bit of a headhunter and convinced them to come and fill out applications. But as far as somebody coming through our door asking, hey, are you guys taking applications? That's not happening. Nobody wants to come in and work for Road and Bridge. What we had found, I think I've shared with the court, that TxDOT, Fredericksburg and Kerrville, some of our employees that were at entry-level positions hired on with TxDOT, they got a $5,000 hire-on bonus, and they were paying between $21 an hour and $24 an hour. It's really hard to compete with that. I had talked to John, I think his last name is Andrade, from Bandera County. He's having the same problem with TxDOT Bandera. He's down 7 people where we're down 9 people. So he said, I can't compete with TxDOT. So it's kind of where we're at. But what we want to do is we put in there, I think it's, let's see which sheet. It's this sheet right here. It's kind of hard to see, but it's got a little upper part on it. It's got about 5 or 6 lines on it.
Proposed with 3 positions?
Yes. If you go to that, if we were to keep all of our budgeted positions that we have, and be able to, if we were to get applications in, to keep all of our 27 budgeted positions. This is what you would be looking at the bottom, would be the increased cost. It'd be $113,581.51. That's with not giving up any of our positions. If you go over to the right, we would be willing, I mean, of course, we don't want to, we'd love to have the first one, but that may not be possible. We're willing to freeze 3 of our road maintenance tech positions. Still have them, but we would not hire in them. And either for a time period or, we've kind of kicked this around, the 2 crew chiefs and I, with all of the new developments coming in, maybe on that first position when the court has accepted 10 new miles of maintenance for new roads from a new development, we would get permission to be able to go out and hire in that one position that's been frozen. But we're willing to freeze 3 positions, not get rid of them, but freeze them that we will not be able to hire in those in order to do the increase for our CDL holders. To maybe, it still isn't going to match up with TechStop, but it's going to get you closer to TechStop.
Kelly, does that difference include all the changes on the page before that? Where you have the change in grade from 18 to 20? And
Yes.
Includes to the 113,000?
Yes, if we do the 3 frozen, it actually would have a surplus of $8,465.69. So instead of having 9 open positions, obviously we would have 6 open positions, and we wouldn't hire on those 3. We don't want to delete those 3 positions, and I think you all know this, once you get rid of them, and I think most people sitting in this room will agree, it's hard to get them back.
When you say 3, how do you come up with the number 3?
We first did the increases and figured out how many positions we would need to do in order to cover it, to get it as
How
close.
many crews are you running?
1.
And normally it was 5 for 5 work areas, now we're down to 1 bigger crew.
But this gives you all the upgrades that you need.
Yes, yes,
And freeze 3 positions, and it's essentially a break even.
yes. And like I said, we just threw out the idea of possibly, court accepts 10 new miles, one of those unfreezes, or if one of you have a better idea
We're
on
gonna
it.
try not to take on anymore, working with kids and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
So,
That's my goal.
if we didn't take, any more in, and the court wanted to say 5 years on the first one, after 5 years, we can rehire in that one position and keep going down. We want to be able to compete with TechStop, and we want to be able to keep employees. I still have, it's a past employee that works out of the Fredericksburg office. He still is contacting our current employees, trying to get them to leave Road and Bridge and go to the Fredericksburg TechStop office, which, there's no law against it, but it doesn't make you very happy when you hear that.
Well, I'm in favor of the increases. I'm a little concerned about freezing the staff. I know, you can say you can get by. I certainly wouldn't want to do it. I would do maybe freeze 2. I just think that people, you have holidays, you have people get sick, you have overtime. By cutting staff, we're going to increase all those other items. So are we really gaining much? But to me, I'd rather not freeze them, try to keep full staff, because this department and sheriffs, they're the ones that hit us hard on overtime. If there's an ice storm, they got to be out, and if they're already short-staffed, it's hard for them to take comp time, or if we make them take comp time, then they can't get work done. So we're not gaining anything.
I'm sure the sheriff's department is the same way, but it is a real rarity. It happens every once in a while that we have every employee at work. Every day we have somebody off, at least one.
Going into this, we knew that Road and Bridge and our sheriff's department are the ones hardest hit, that people are stealing our people. And fairly easily because of salaries.
You know, another thing, just to add in here, you know, we're starting to get a lot of phone calls on the right-of-way mowing. Well, Robert has gone out and he's mowing, but, you know, that's another responsibility that we do along with, you know, brush cutting, chip sealing, patching, you know, all of that.
You know,
It's getting to a point that there's not enough people, and what we have, if we were to lose any more than what we've got, it'd be pretty devastating.
these two departments are unique in that, and I've talked to a lot of people, they're worried about what we're doing this year. And I've told them, I said, my biggest worry is these two departments I just discussed. And they realize that. People realize that, hey, when you call in the sheriff's office, you want somebody to show up. When you have road problems and stuff, you want to fix. They realize that. Maybe they don't understand some of the other departments, you know, when they ask for raises and stuff like that compared to these. And I think even the sheriff is, I'm dragging him into this, but we discussed some of the other people in his department. He said, no, the ones out there in patrol are the ones we need most help with. And the people understand that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to ask Kelly a question. I just want to be real practical. These RMT positions that you're talking about freezing, realistically, are we going to be able to fill those positions with what their present step and grade is?
No, sir.
No.
That's what I thought.
Well, we kind of looked at it, even the 9 that were short.
And
I would be shocked if we filled 9 positions.
And I
in
want
that
to commend
fiscal
your
year.
creativity, take a look at this and being realistic about it, and offering those freezes because de facto, that's what's going to happen. You're not going to fill those positions.
No.
And you're looking for a way to be able to upgrade your department where you requested without it adversely affecting county finances. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Donnie and Robert and Rosa, we kind of brainstormed and came up with something that maybe we could offer kind of back to the court to do this. And
I hear what Commissioner Letts is saying. But realistically, if we got to the point where we needed another, we're going to have to give them a step and grade increase anyway. So what are we really losing here?
But the increase, if we do what's on the page, the third page, that gives them a second grade increase. That gives all your employees an
Yes.
increase.
well, or CDL.
All your CDL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean,
So the RMTs aren't CDLs?
no, we've started to hire them without a CDL just to have somebody who wants to come and work for us, and then we're sending them through our driver entry-level training that we've been successful. That young man will be brought up to a 15. So all of our RMT positions are budgeted as 15, but if you don't have a CDL when we hire you, you start out at a 14. We're not going to pay you as much until you get that CDL. So all of those positions.
What do they need to be at to actually attract and be able to hire somebody as an RMT?
Well, like I said, the ones that left here that were RMTs went to TechStot, and they're making, a couple of them are making $21 an hour, and one of them that just recently left that's going to Fredericksburg, I asked him, you know, what are they going to start you out at? He told me $24 an hour, and these people were RMTs. They weren't heavy equipment operators. They weren't crew leaders. They weren't crew chiefs. They were our entry-level positions, and they were hired anywhere from $21 to $24 an hour.
what's a 15?
1778, I believe.
1778 an hour.
Essentially what we did, Commissioner, we trained these people, we got them their CDL back before the world change. Yeah, before the world changed. And we got them their 2 years of experience, which is all they need to move on to TechStot. So it's very attractive when you're making $17.78 or $18 an hour and you get 21 or 24 thrown at you. You really can't blame them, but we can, but.
You know, offhand, what's the 17 starting? 17 off the.
I'm not sure.
Well, it'll be 5% higher.
We're a training ground for everybody else.
In the long term, that really hurts us because we end up with new people all the time. We're much better off paying more and keeping employees. That's where we used to be.
I've heard the same thing from many department heads sitting here. Two of them right there in the second row, that people get training and then move on because they've been well trained here. And they're qualified now to get a higher paying job. That's true any place, in every place. So,
Well, and, you know, for a lot of the younger ones, and this was discussed, I think, recently, Kerr County has unbelievable benefits, and I thank you all for the benefits that we have. That $2.30 for every dollar, that's unheard of, you know? But when you're young, it means nothing to you.
Bottom line.
Bottom line is, what are you gonna pay me an hour? As you get older, you start to realize that those benefits really, really play an important role. But when they're young, most of them, they don't care about any of that. I've had older employees or older people inquire because they want the benefits. That's what they're more worried about, is the benefits.
So we're taking, if we go to 17, that's 1867 an hour. So
Right. The 17 right now pays 1963 an hour.
the 1953?
The 17, yeah.
Or 17?
The grade 17 pays 1963 an hour.
what's that do overall?
Well, it just goes, we're going up. I mean, for TechDOT, people are paying 21, so it's about 50 an hour more.
And Russell, where
But
would
what I'm
that,
saying is, what does that do to our
that
budget?
going up to a 19, where would that then put that
Well,
hourly?
What it does,
Not that great.
let's one at a time, one at a time. His question is, what does this do to the budget? And I think what Kelly's telling us is that if she does not fill these 3 fifth positions, whether they're frozen or just unfilled right now,
Yeah.
she can do this within the budget that we have. We accommodate these increases from the CDLs. She can do all of that with the budget she has without having to increase.
Fewer people, higher pensions, raise well.
There would actually be about an $8,000 surplus in there.
Yeah, that's $800,000.
That's smoke and mirrors for what we need, though.
Yeah. I was, I thought more interested in freezing them for 6 months, see where you are, see if you're able to hire people, and then we can look at it in 6 months. If it's freezing, if we're actually hiring people, you can have freeze them in 6 months.
Well, I'm not sure.
RMTs do we have right now?
What's that?
How many RMTs do we have right now?
2, actually.
2.
Filled or vacant? Filled or vacant?
Filled.
How many positions?
2.
Just 2 positions?
2 filled.
That are
We
filled.
fill
How
positions.
many unfilled?
9.
So full staff is 11?
On the RMT. For the RMT.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And
We're
you're
a total of 27. We were 28, and we got our shop supervisor more money last year, so we gave up a position.
So to recap, whether we call these people frozen, we freeze the positions, we just don't fill the positions, you can do all that within our existing budget. That's good. Second thing, if we did do the freeze, can't we undo the freeze?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, without doubt.
So whether we freeze it or not, we know that it's a fluid decision at this point.
Right.
And depending on what happens next month, next year, it may change.
Well,
But we give you the flexibility.
does she have to get permission from the courts to do a freeze if she can't fill them in?
Well,
Well,
if we freeze them,
if we increase the
Then we would.
yes, we get our permission. If we're gonna do this pay, Ron, we have to approve it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she says, if we approve this, then she can do that by not filling those 3 positions, whatever we call it.
Well, I'd like to see her get a better inkjet thing. personally. So let's put that in the budget, so I can actually read this page. I've been staring at it, wondering what they're talking about. So,
I think it's a good idea. there anything else on this? I think we all understand it.
I understand it, but I think they got too many babies.
Yes.
And, I think they need to be addressed.
Well, I think the way she's addressing the vacancy, just my take on it is, hire them without CDL, put them in our training program,
Yeah.
get them a CDL,
Yeah.
and give them higher pay.
Yeah.
So we bring them in, we train them, they get certified, and we pay them more.
Yeah.
Works.
Yep.
Supply and demand.
If we pay for that, we need a commitment out of that. We need a certain amount of time committed. That's the way they do the bonus pay.
Right, to me, that would be a legal question. It would be a legal question. I'd love to have it, but I just don't know legally if you can do that. Especially,
You can, the sheriff knows you can.
Okay.
Not him. He
Um,
does it. If you say, we're gonna give you CDL training and we require 18 months out of your 2 years or whatever it is in return, plus you get paid while you're learning. I don't see why we can't do that, and retain some of them.
Rosie, your
All
thoughts on
you
it?
do is get them to agree to refund the cost that you applied.
I know in the
Yeah,
past
we
when
can
And
you
it's prorated, you know.
I know in the past when you've done, at least when I first hired on at Road and Bridge, I got a letter that said it was like a 6-month probation period, and we were told somewhere along the line, you can't do that because you're guaranteeing employment for 6 months. So I don't know on this if it would be the same thing,
It's wordsmithing.
yeah.
At grade 17, would you be able to hire additional RMTs?
I think it,
We'd like to have it all find out.
yeah, don't know, never been there,
I'd like to see you have the opportunity to fund out too.
I have one more thing.
Okay?
We want to do a stipend for our shop supervisor. It should be in there, I'm not sure which page. I asked Robert and Donnie to come up with what they thought would be fair. It's, I think, it's on this page, it has the squares running down it, the very last one. This is the guy that got Road and Bridge set up for the entry-level driver training, which is a very strict criteria. Like I said, the school districts, they thought they were set up, they weren't. He said, hey, let's just try this one employee, see if we can't get him through it. Like I said, I think it was about a week or 2 ago, he completed the driving test, he's got his CDL now. They came up with a proposed $1,500 added as a stipend for him. And for every new hire that he gets through this program, and we figured maybe 3 employees is maybe what we'd be able to hire. Maybe it'll be more. But we started out with $1,500 for every employee that he successfully gets through this program and they have CDL in hand, he would get a $500 stipend payment. Because it does take time out of his schedule. We do have the computer set up out in the office of the mechanic shop. He's still having to get all the oil changes and all the repairs done, and along with this, so we figured some sort of incentive, because we're not having to send our employees to truck driving school at $6,000 to $10,000 a person. There's a pretty big savings in what we're doing right now, so.
If I understand this correctly, Kelly, you're talking about putting $1,500 in there, but you're projecting maybe 3 a year?
That's kind of what Robert and Donnie
Okay.
came up with, just to start somewhere. We don't want to put a huge amount, and then
Right.
we only maybe hired, 2
I
employees in that. And that way, there's an incentive for him. He didn't just take on a whole nother job that he would get some sort of thank you for what he's doing. And he's the one that came to me and said, hey, would you mind if I look into what all it really is gonna take for us to do it in-house and not have to send somebody to a school, and see if I hit any snags. And the only snag we ran into is because he's the trainer, he has to have a current DOT medical card, which when you're local government, you can sign up for an exemption for the medical card as long as you're driving a county vehicle. He had to have that, so we went and sent him to get his med card, go through the physical and everything, and I paid for it out of, I think, like contingencies or something. That was the last thing that he had to do. He had to have the DOT medical card, so I said we can pay for that.
No other certifications or anything?
No, I don't really,
It's the Class A and,
and I think any of the endorsements that you're teaching, you have to have that certification. So the endorsements that we currently require is the water truck. I don't think that there's, what's that, in the standard manual transmission? Used to be you got your CDL and it covered you on the transmissions. In today's world, if you take it in an automatic transmission dump truck, your license says they can only drive automatics. If you take it in a manual transmission dump truck, you can drive any of the rest of the stuff, so.
Well, it seems like you come up with a creative way to solve the problems. And it seems like this guy's the linchpin to it. I don't have any problem with question. Anything else you need to talk to us about? Thank you.
Thank you.
Fund 20,
120.
road districts, it should be
Oh.
quick.
I'm before we do that one, Cleve. I'm okay with it, but I'm still very concerned about freezing positions on this, because I think it's gonna have a negative impact on getting work done. And I'm against freezing them. I understand they may not be filled, but I don't mind budgeting for them, but I'd rather not be, because I think it will be hard to fill, it'll take some time to fill them all, but I would rather not freeze anything.
I agree. I mean, you know, they struggle with hiring people and stuff, but boom, all of a sudden you get 3 new applicants that are decent and they're going out.
There's one I'm trying to compromise with that.
That's okay, too.
Well, if she's given permission to freeze it, that doesn't mean that she can't hire somebody else, does it? But she has to come back to
You
the
gotta go
board.
back to us and say freeze it.
I would like to see her actively recruited.
Exactly.
So,
You gotta have a
if we
couple,
say you
at
have
least
permission,
one, if not two
let me
open
finish, please.
positions.
If you have permission to do what you're requesting, you're saying she automatically has to come back to the court to request to hire people beyond
If
this.
you
I'm
do
not sure
freeze,
that we can't give her permission all at once.
Just take out the freeze part.
Yep.
Yeah, so limit that and whatever wording we
So,
need.
I'm trying to clarify for Kelly, you can't get it. We're talking about leaving, for the time being, voluntarily, leaving 3 positions unfilled.
Yeah.
As a recruiting incentive.
Yes.
So the real question is there some kind of a Kerr County policy or state law that requires you to, if you are able to fill every position? You're not gonna be able to do it anyway, so I'm a little bit at a loss of why we have to decide there's a freeze versus her just saying, I'm not gonna hire anybody right now.
It's a budget,
She's a department.
if it's not frozen, we'll put money in the budget for that position.
Right.
I think I would rather be realistic in our budgeting and say, reduce our salary line item a couple of positions, because we're not gonna, you are right, we're never gonna have to be 100% full.
Right.
Same as the sheriff's department. So, we over budget, which is why we end up with surplus, which is not a bad thing either, because we.
It can't be, if everybody does it, it's a bad deal.
Yeah.
It's more of a budget. My preference would be not to freeze them, let her move forward. And I think we addressed what we're gonna do on either contingency or salaries, something like that, from a budget standpoint. Totally.
I agree.
Agreed.
Do you understand?
You have the authority as the head of the department to hire or not hire someone.
Absolutely.
And she was voluntarily offering to
not hire
exercise
for a
that
while.
authority to not hire.
Not hired for a while.
And the response we're giving back to her is, keep the authority, hire if you need them. Let's see where we go.
But she's looking for that increase also, so you're getting both.
Right.
You're getting both.
She's putting them on a CDL track.
Yeah, okay. Does that work for you, Kelly?
Yes.
It's a compromise.
Let's finish up quickly with, what is it?
Fund 20.
20, yeah, 20, road districts.
And if, I've got a note, Tanya can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but there's some monies that is available with Ingram Hills, that is 41,160, and Oak Ridge, 5,280. That's the only information that I personally have with Road District in Fund 20.
Is that from 2 years ago? From
I
me? An email from-
Think so, and I think what was said was the only way, that was, I guess, an overage when those road
So-
districts were done.
When they pay off their debt and there's people that haven't paid their taxes yet, when that money comes in, it goes into Fund 20, but it has to be restricted for the district that was originally paying for that note. And so any repairs that are done, anything as it's being done, can be charged to Fund 20 instead of Road and Bridge. But the money has been building up, I don't know what it is right now.
Those were the
But we
amounts.
have looked at it in the past, just to say, you've got that much money, but there hasn't been any that's being charged there so far.
Well, and I've told the two crew chiefs, they know these two road names, that when we get ready to do the work on these two roads, then that's when we will be letting the auditor know that,
And the information that's provided is that we got $24,100 for Ingram Hills Road District, is that right? That's
So
what-
that's how much they asked for. So are you still asking for that, or is it still gonna be made zero?
I don't think we haven't asked for anything.
That's driven by the fund.
Yeah, these were the amounts, and Tanya, I think they might have come from, what's his name that was in your
I've
office?
looked at it since then, and we've had an email on it. So I just don't recall what the email was. It was over a year ago.
Yeah.
They've got the money there, but if they're choosing not to use it, then it should be zero. If there's a possibility they're gonna use funds for any of those road districts, it needs to have a budget behind it.
Well, what I'm seeing on the budget summary that I keep referring to here is that we reflect $24,100 worth of income on road districts, and then we budget that amount so that it's available to be spent.
That is just expenditures. We've got it in fund balance right now, and that's if they spend the amount of money this year. We can look at it and bring it back.
And I don't think we have any plans for,
I think it's a wash.
yeah.
Okay, anything else on road districts?
Nope.
Let's take a 5-minute break. Next item on the agenda is county engineer. Okay.
It's number 601.
Homework.
Thank you, Judge. I did pass out just a map that shows those 3 drainage locations that we were discussing earlier. I sketched this a little while ago to remind myself of where these were. I know we talked about it a moment ago, but just for the public, there's 3 areas on Highway 27, Sutherland, Coldwell, and Willow Bend, that the drainage pipes going under the highway have historically not been big enough to handle the stormwater going under. When TxDOT rebuilt Highway 27, they added additional culvert pipes at those locations, but there's still, the choke point is past those culverts also. There is not a means for that water to get to the river quickly, so instead it backs up at all those locations. So at such time that we have drainage channels, ditches, culvert pipes to get it all the way to the river, that'll flow more effectively. That's where that project stemmed from. There has been discussion in this court through the years of whether or not this really should be a TxDOT project or a county project. I'm just an engineer in the middle that just wants to see the water get where it needs to go, and I'll do what the court tells me to do. But there you go. That's where we're at on that. Again, this past year there was money budgeted to acquire right-of-way for these because the engineering was far enough along. I can tell you my office hasn't worked on it at all since the budget year started in October 1. We spend 4 days a week on average doing inspections for all of the new development that's going on. That's not just the sewer project. Sewer project doesn't take near as much time. It really is the development that just inundated our office starting in 2021 and carrying all the way through 2022. So if we move on to my budget, I've got a couple of line items that I'd like to talk about. Line item 315's books, publications, and dues. I put an additional $100 in there over the recommended, and that was to make sure there was enough money in there to cover all the different organizations that we're part of. One of them is the National Association of County Engineers, which the past 2 years we didn't pay our dues. We just didn't do it. Part of that was because of how the world changed with COVID and whatnot. There were some conferences that they just didn't have. The other is uniforms. As Kelly mentioned earlier, uniform prices went up about 25%, and Road and Bridge has been kind enough to help our department make sure and cover those fees, but we wanted to budget the appropriate amount. So that line item is $316 and an additional $800 to make sure we've got enough money in there for a full year of uniform service. I have passed out a memo that I gave to the judge and to the county auditor as well as the HR director, which kind of describes the situation thing I'd like to talk about moving forward with the engineering department. We are a two-man department. As you know, this two-man department for Kirk County Engineering Department, we work very hard to keep pace with the tremendous growth that Kirk County has experienced. We went from an average of 10 new lots per year to over 1,000 lots in 1 year. Brand new lots that are being built on the ground by developers. I've been reluctant to expand the department, thinking this growth would be short-lived. However, we've reached a breaking point. We can no longer provide the level of service this community expects and demands. I propose a systematic approach that will involve short and long-term actions, associated budgetary impacts, and we'll need the help of the court at appropriate times. I think phase one can be handled in budget year 2023-24 with very minimal impact to the budget. I'd like to take the floodplain administrative duties and transfer them to the engineering assistants. It will require that the engineering assistant maintain certified Floodplain manager status will require adjustments to salary. It can be accomplished with a minimal impact to the budget. What I'd like to do is reduce line item 570, capital outlay, take that balance and add it to the salary for the new floodplain administrator, my assistant. That would be line item 103. I'd also like to expand our existing 12-week summer intern program to 16 weeks as a pilot program. We do a 12-week program because 12 weeks works great over the summertime for a summer intern. If we went to top 20, they can still do it. We may need to do some of that like later in the year, maybe in the winter, maybe 4 weeks in the winter. But if it's successful, I'd like to expand it over time. Each year come back to you and add another 4 weeks for an ultimate 24-week program, which would be equivalent to maybe having 2 summer interns or 1 summer intern that works for the summer, but also or maybe a different intern that works in the fall or the spring. We have a summer intern right now. He's a Schreiner student, civil engineer major, very, very bright. We've been able to put him on some things that my assistant and I like to do, the engineering nerdy stuff that we don't get to do because we're busy doing other things, and he's doing them anyway for us, having all the fun, doing all the engineering calculations. But that would be an increase to line item 108 by $1,740. That's the equivalent of 4 weeks for a summer intern. It is part-time, it's 29 hours a week max. Then we'd also, third-party inspection services, it will require a request for qualifications to hire a provider. We would need to go through an RFQ at some point. We will require budget approval by the court. Engineering fees will cover cost of inspections. We charge engineering fees right now for subdivisions. All the subdivisions we did last year didn't pay any engineering fees. We didn't have them. That was something new as part of last year's budget and also adopting the new subdivision regulations. But so I don't know how to show that in the budget. I don't know if you do a projected income, projected expenses, or if you just do budget amendments anytime a subdivision comes in. I'm not sure how to do that, but I just want to make sure that the court knows. I think that's where we need to head for inspection services. As I mentioned before, last year I think we spent about 4 days a week in the field just doing inspections, and there's only 5 in a week. We've been able to, because a lot of developments are starting to wind down, they've got the heavy liftings done as far as building roads, putting the drainage in. Now, some of them are only in establishing vegetation. My office doesn't need to go out there and watch the grass grow. So we're down to two days a week where we're doing inspections for this year. That'd be nice if that was going to sustain like that for moving forward in the future, but we still are just a 2-man department, and it would make sense to have a third-party inspector that would be used on a just as needed basis, and it would be paid for through the fees that we are collecting from developers.
Qualifications would you need for that?
If we did a request for qualifications for that, it would be for engineering inspection services, construction inspection services for development.
We'd have a retainer kind of contract with them
Yes.
for a year at a time to be renewed, or what do you anticipate?
I think so. Probably, we may want to do it for more than a year if we find one that we really like and we've got a good working relationship. We just renew those services every year. I guess renew a contract or sign a contract that says this is what we're going to do until we need to move on and part ways.
Auto renewal with like a 90-day out or something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not real sure. I haven't ever done it before, but I can find out. I can find out what maybe other counties are doing and bring something in.
Charlie, the bulk of our subdivisions have private roads. We don't have a whole lot coming on county roads, county maintained roads. what's your thought, you're probably not gonna like this idea, but what's your thought of not inspecting those roads? We're not responsible for them. We want them, we just had the engineer that designs them, had that engineer sign off that they were built accordingly, and we just don't do those inspections.
And then what we would do in that case is review, maybe do some spot inspections, but not be out there every single time. Just so we have a feel for what's going on. And we would need for them to provide us the results of any of their density testing that they're having done by a lab. So it's a certified lab that's sending these testing results. So it would take us from being out in the field, and we'd be able to handle that in the office. That would be up to the court, if that's what the court wants to do.
I would be in favor of going in that direction. And the main reason is if these roads, however they're built, once they're done, we don't go out there, we're not responsible for the repairs of them. So, I mean, we want them to be built to a standard, but for us to spend a whole lot of manpower inspecting them, it seems to me that it's not necessary.
I think also because the court recently has taken the stance that do we really want to be taking on any more new roads unless they're providing some kind of a benefit to the whole community. If it's just a road that's coming off of the highway and going into the subdivision and there's really no connector, then you're less, if you're right now you're saying we don't want to take over the maintenance of that, then in the future, 20 years later, you still probably wouldn't want to take that road over.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm not on the same page as my good friend in Precinct 4. I think that there is a benefit they're paying taxes. So if they want to, the county to take over those roads, I think we need to continue as you're doing. And I think we should accept a road that's built to our standard. It does more work for our road and bridge department, but these people, if they choose to do it, they're paying taxes. They're taxpayers like everybody else, and that should be.
Right.
For whatever reason, most people, it appears, or most developers appear to not want roads to be maintained by the county. And we accept very few roads. Regardless, all private roads. All the larger subdivisions we're looking at in recent years have all been private roads. So it's just a way to cut back I know your staff is overworked. And to me, I like your plan. I probably want to move up your new hire sooner. And I'd like to maybe see if you and Kelly could work out more specifics on the expansion of that building, how it would be done, and the cost. So we can start looking at that. But one option may be, and I'd be in support of not doing the full inspections on private roads.
I think it's important that we continue to do some inspections, so maybe we target 20%. So that they may never really know, they have to advise us every time they're gonna go out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's still a final review, any reports that come in, you guys should still take a look at it, but it would reduce the workload for you.
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
That's good.
Charlie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, I've gone out with y'all on some of these inspections and stuff, and, golly, it seems like overkill as far as maybe you and Bobby and then Kelly and 2 or 3 road crew chiefs or something. You know, we get a lot of manpower out there. It seems like we could do with less, you know, either or, your department or Kelly's or whatever, for a lot of this stuff. Just my 2 cents.
The one that you witnessed was a road that is maintained by the county and was going to be maintained after, so they wanted all hands on deck to make sure everyone was on the same page. So, that was an ounce of cure.
Yeah, and I'll agree with Commissioner Lentz, Tim and I are on the same page as far as taking on new county roads and what have you. And I think, you know, we're gonna look hard at the bids going forward, hopefully.
Well, what I presented to you so far, and for the public, they didn't hear the rest, but that was just phase 1. Phase 1 was for this year, but phase 2 would be building expansion. I'm suggesting effective budget year 2026-27, expansion of existing engineering office. We have 2 rooms right now We really need a plan room, also to house the large format scanner copier, flat vertical files, review tables, drafting tables. If you've been in my office, you know where those files are right now, all the plans. I can't open some of my drawers anymore because there's plans stacked up everywhere. There's not a place to put them. Office space needed for one additional staff. An entry-level engineer is what we would be looking for. That would be phase 2. But phase 2 can't happen unless we have a building. Right now, we don't have space. And phase 3 would be staff expansion from 2 to 3, affected budget year 2027, 28, entry-level engineer. So these are just long-term goals. Gosh, Bobby and I would love it if we never had to expand, I have to be honest. We're very hesitant to do that, but I just don't see an end to what's been going on. So
I think that building was originally built for expansion, so expansion is not that difficult to do a reconfiguration. It's planned to expand to the east. At that door, I thought that door was there. And so I'd get with Kelly, figure out how much space you need. And in an expansion, you could probably do more like a conference type room, and then y'all can take over the current conference room. That'd be an option.
Let's look at all the options on the way. When we have a new animal control shelter, we'll have that building that Reagan and his team are currently occupying. It's actually a very nice office space.
Yeah, it's a great building. Temporary.
Well, yeah, but temporary, but I mean, it's got at least a 20-year life. Once it's properly maintained, and there's a lot of room in the road and bridge yard to set something like that. So, just throwing that up, consider that as an option.
something I could do is put on one of the agendas here in the near future would be that request for qualifications for the inspection services, and then we can see what's out there, and select whichever one is the most qualified, and then find out what do you charge for this kind of stuff, and then see how that would line up with moving forward. So
I like that idea.
just a step at a time.
But we don't need anything in this year's budget on that, I don't think.
Not for that, no sir. And again, that would be paid for with engineering fees that we collect already, engineering and inspection fees, so.
But we may need to seed money to pay them and then collect fees.
Yes, sir.
That's not in this budget year, so it's not, we won't worry about that.
Well, it could be.
It could be, it could be. I don't know how counties handle that, so.
Well, if you have a retainer, you're paying somebody, and then you have a good year with inspections, everything's fine. But if they go down, then it's not paying for itself, then we'd have to bring it back and look at it again.
Yes, sir. And we'd have that flexibility. We'd have a lot of flexibility.
Okay, very good. Anything else, Charlie?
No, sir. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Parks Committee. What tab is that?
Sorry.
513,
That's
the front,
What?
513.
Okay.
Got it. Maybe you're quick on the numbers, Eldon. Okay.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
Good morning. Let's see, equipment, I'm sorry, 513, 456, equipment repaired. I'm only asking for a 5% increase, and that's the only increase in 513 I'm asking for.
Yeah, looks like a $600 increase.
Yeah, it's like 5% for that.
I'll see what we can absorb that. Anything else in Parks Maintenance? Looks good to me. Thanks, Shane.
All right.
Okay. Courthouse related building.
510?
510?
Yes, sir. We'll have 510 and also 511.
Okay. 510 is the related buildings?
Yeah.
The related buildings?
510, 316, I was asking for another 5% for uniform, but uniform costs going up. And the next one on my agenda would be
Before
510.
you leave that one, Shane,
Sir?
before you leave, courthouse related, we're looking at moving some departments around. We're not sure how that's all gonna sort out yet, but there will be some building costs to do that in any scenario we're looking at right now. We need to put some funds in here for that type of work. I mean, it looks, I don't know where the contract fees, I mean, 10,000 does not go very far, if that's the line item that's going.
Kind of how much of a project we talked about, moving who and where are we moving them?
Well, we're probably gonna be having to do some work at 550 Earl Garrett sometime in the next budget year, and that'll be putting in doors, somewhere, and, you know, we're not sure yet, and we're not sure who's going there, but there's definitely gonna be some doors put in to separate some areas, and basically changing hallway, not changing hallways, but doors in hallways, so that people can't go in and out as much.
Right.
Up there. There may be work, up in Ingram, at the new annex. And,
Do we want to put all that in this line?
well, I don't know where it goes, but we need to account for it somewhere.
Let's got a line item.
Yeah, but I think it maybe ought to be in another line. I don't have any suggestions.
Would that be a capital outlay problem or a line item?
I don't know, Tanya.
Tanya?
Well, I'm just looking at the budget here.
Yeah,
And Ingram
I-
Annex has R&M at, what?
Well, yeah, for the Ingram Annex, we already had 10,000 in that. I left that as is, didn't touch that.
Earl Gat's got 4,000. Do we have anything for the courthouse proper?
450, the 510, 450. I'm asking for another 5% increase in the courthouse budget.
Yeah.
And if you look at the previous two budget cycles, I've went over 80,000. Last year's requested budget that I had was 76,000 for the courthouse.
That may be enough, I don't know, we don't know what we're doing for sure, but we need, maybe just put in contingency and have it there. But it's just, we're gonna have expense.
That's what I
come
would do, just
back.
look at the contingency fund, cover any, these minor expenses.
Depending on what the projects are, we also have a fund called permanent improvement. It is Fund 70. So I don't know, the projects that are showing on here, I do not think there's actually a plan for it. It's just what's left in the fund balance. And that's if we spend 100% of what's budgeted in the current year. I can bring that back at a later date and discuss it, but if it's doors that are going in there permanently, then we might could use funds out of that, out of there.
I think any of these items would be permanent improvements that I'm talking about.
And is there money in that fund now?
There is money.
$9,500.
That ought to
That's
cover
what
the
we're
rest of it.
What'd you say?
9,500?
9,500.
It's a good start.
It's a start.
It's
That is-
something.
it doesn't go very
I
far.
actually think there's more money in there. It's just, there was money budgeted for this year that has not been spent, so there may be additional funds in there also. It's just hard to project
That's
early
just what I put
on.
in my budget. So that's already built into the budget. Plus these other funds. I think we've got enough probably, well, one major contingency fund. We don't have enough of these little ones?
Yeah.
Just throw out that.
Okay.
That's, I agree.
I think you did good, Shane.
All right. And then also the juvenile detention repairs, I'm asking for another 5% for the juvenile detention. That is 510, 451. In the last two budget cycles, I've been running around over 20,000 in that line item as well.
Thanks, well thought out.
And one more for the 510, 550, another 5%. The major repairs, that can cover multiple buildings. That can cover the courthouse, the road and bridge, Ingram. It can also cover the 550 building. So if we have any major repairs like AC repairs, that can help kind of cover.
I think these 5% increases that you've done give you a cushion, being at least start what we need there.
Okay.
If we need more with them, then I'm good with that.
And last but not least, the 510, 511.
Which one?
511.
Jail maintenance.
All right, the actual jail repairs, 511, 451. I'm also asking for another 5%. And you also notice past budgets that I've gone over the 80,000 mark, kind of significant. And it's just to help out with it. I just also had to spend 11,000 on a new boiler just a couple months ago. That was a pretty significant hit.
Well, so you put that 9,000 down there for major repairs.
Yes, sir. For major repairs, yes, sir, to kind of help cover that, because I'm way short on my budget for the jail budget right now, and something like for the major repairs would help significantly with that. So somewhere I'm gonna have to do a budget adjustment to get some of that money back in the line.
Okay. You have anything else on the agenda here?
Before we let them escape, where are we at as far as personnel? How many vacancies do you have?
Just one.
Just one. And Commissioner Letts had come up with a good idea, and we discussed it starting a couple of years ago about just having a strictly lawn maintenance and stuff. We got so many campuses, especially going in the Ingram one with, close to 5 acres. A lot of extra mowing and stuff, just having a crew that did that, and sometimes we get short-handed and Shane's out there on the mower and stuff. I think we need to pursue that a little bit harder.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
And that may be to reorganization of your department a little bit. It just seems that seeing you on a lawnmower is not good use of your time. That's not efficient.
Exactly.
But
it's all.
But it needs to be done.
Yeah.
It needs to be done. But
You look good on the shade.
Well, I mean, I don't mind, but I understand. I have other duties, and if I'm not doing my duties, then
right.
I understand.
It's something that I would look at, and we keep on acquiring buildings, and we're expanding building, and we're not adding to the maintenance staff. And that's one of the, it can turn around and bite if you don't take care of what you have.
Right. Especially with these older buildings.
Yeah. So, I don't know, your department's one that you need to look at and see exactly if you are staffed the way you need it, because we just need to make sure we're maintaining everything. And the new Ingram building is old. Very old. Historic old.
Yeah. And currently, sometimes we do run high with our comp time, because we accrue a lot of comp time through the jail a lot of times. It's every person that goes to jail, we assign them for once a week, rotate them out, but they'll get a couple of hours of overtime there, or comp time every week they're there, and sometimes more, depending on what happened, because there's always an emergency there. That's another thing we always do. And then trying to, with the staff we have, if they're off, then we're not doing something else somewhere. So that kind of hurts.
And any department that continually has overtime and comp time, That's not an efficient use of funds, of taxpayer funds, because we're paying them back time and a half. So we're better off increasing staff, it's not gonna cost us.
Okay, thank you. Sir. Okay, got it, county clerk. You got the items here.
403.
Well, everybody gives a phone. Sally, go ahead.
Okay. So I've cut what I could from the administrative recommended, or I guess whatever was presented. I cut an additional 2,778, and compared to last year, it's also cutting 10,000. But that said, that doesn't reflect the request I have today, which is to have 2 deputy clerks retitled or reclassified. I don't know what the right terminology is, but to be senior clerks specific to their duties, to their department. And then, so the job descriptions are attached with what I presented. I've also presented the present layout of the structure in my office, as well as what I'm hoping it will be, what I'm requesting it will be.
So you're going, the change basically is you're going from 2 pay grade 17 to 4 pay grade 17.
Well, no, because the two admins that I have, they could be reclassified and they're presently already a 17. So I'm really only increasing 2.
Right, okay, you went from 2 to 4.
Oh, okay,
On
yes,
your-
overall, correct, yes.
Your department.
Yes, and I am fully staffed. So instead of having 2 admins, I'd like there to be a senior civil, a senior vitals, a senior county court at law, and a senior OPR. OPR meaning land, official public records.
And you're decreasing your overall budget by about $3,000 for what?
Yes, but with the salary increases, I think the difference between a 15 and a 17 is $3,000 each. So I guess you could say it breaks even or it goes over by about 3,000.
You reorganize your
We're
department.
reorganizing it, correct, into
Reorganize
Be
and
more
increase pay it to.
Recognize those staff that are specialized in those duties, that people go to for questions anyway. And they train. I just think that it would be more appropriate to have a better structure. It would just be more appropriate with the way things actually are. And they need to be compensated with some of those duties that they've been having for years. But that's fund, that's the general fund part. Fund 403.
If you can run your department more efficiently, it will save money, but I don't see any problem with that.
Jack, you forgive my ignorance, but would you help me, what, the acronyms, what's CCL?
County Court of Law.
OPR?
County Court of Law, and then OPR is official public records,
Thank you.
or land. We did see an increase in our publications for subscriptions, minor increases. I did ask a little more for publications. I may have just repeated myself, but I meant notices required by law, sorry.
It's fine with me.
Well, there's $22 difference. Is that all we're looking at?
The impact of the salaries have not been
Added up to what?
put into what
that's
you're looking at
$6,000?
today.
I would say roughly 6,000, yes, sir. I pulled up the present budget as it is right now, between 15 and 17.
Would be that, net plus or minus $3,000 more than last year.
Good job.
Any other questions for Ms. Dowdy? You've got several items on here.
Yes.
Records management,
And what's the fund number?
Fund 41 is first.
Okay. So this includes a portion of salaries and also the records preservation project. I have not received an estimate on that. I think it's actually gonna come in less than 45. So just as a placeholder on line item 63411. Say one more time.
Still trying to find it.
Oh, thank you, Laura. Sorry.
Towards the very, kind of the back.
yeah. Tab 41,
Yes.
Tab 41.
Again, this is including a portion of salaries, and the actual book preservation project falls on number 411, Old Records Preservation. I put in the same as last year because I have not received yet the estimate that comes in this week. So that will be reduced because I don't see it being 45, but I just left it in as is.
well, that's what I put in my recommended budget.
Yeah.
That's dedicated funds, so that,
Correct. And we'll have our public hearing on that on July 10th. That's what I got approved last.
Looks in order to me.
Okay.
Anything else on record management? Okay, county clerk tech fund.
It's Fund 42, it's the next tab.
So I'm only requesting 720. This is to cover the Laredo Connect, and a lot of times the money's collected through, it's called tapestry, whatever records are purchased online, and the county receives a credit for that, and I just request that that credit be applied to this bill. But this is mainly a cushion. I don't think we'll use the whole 720, but it's also there just in case.
Good job. Okay. And core records preservation fund.
Fund 43, the next tab.
So I need to make some corrections on this one. So on number 500, software maintenance, that should actually be 4,000. And that will be for the Monarch export tool for public information requests. And then the next line down, did I give you the wrong, I'm sorry, the first one was 469, that one needed to be 4,000, sorry. Okay, and then the next line after that, 500, that should be 16,000.
16?
Correct, and so the total amount is actually the same as administration, 20,000.
Now, if I'm reading this right, Jack, Fund 469, we budgeted 10, you put 0, but you really need to put 4,000.
Yes.
Okay. but that's still well within the budget.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'll need to make a correction to Fund 28.
Then next would be records archival.
Judge, if we can, we renamed some of the funds last year. She's actually got Fund 28, which is county clerk records management, so if we could get 28 in.
28.
I think that's shared with
The records management.
Is it, okay,
Yes.
and it's shared with the district clerk? Yes.
So, whenever y'all are ready, on 28. Are you all ready? On 28. I don't know what number line item 411 is. It just says it's a, I don't have any money in that one, just so you'll know. 411 is not mine. I am making a request in 569, and that should only be for my portion, 39,000. So I'm subtracting the 13,000 that I put in there, because I moved it into Fund 43.
Okay, so one more time, that needs to be how much?
39,000 for my
39.
portion. And I don't know if Dawn has something.
That 39,988 is under 411 old records preservation.
That's not mine.
That may be Dawn's.
635, 411 is what, it is for, actually the shredded program, that's countywide. That's, I didn't say it is, that's how the contract was written, so that's where that money comes from. And the only other thing I'm requesting is.
How much is that, Don, how much is that contract?
That I don't know. We pay, right now, we've probably used about $14,000 of it. And it's from the sheriff's office and everything, the sheriff's office, everything here at the courthouse. And I believe Road and Bridge and, well, the county outlying areas as well, so. But we pay to have that, those old records shredded out of that.
And that comes out of 411?
Yes. And also, I have my queso project that comes out of that, and that's around $3,000 a year. That preserves all of our current records onto CD discs. So that is the other thing that we have that comes out of that line item. And I'm also requesting $20,000 added to that line item. I am going to see about getting Terralogic in. It's a new company. I have old records back to 1950 that we're going to try to get on Odyssey, where everything is open for public view. All of our CDs that we currently have, we have two different programs we have to access in order for people to come view our older records, which is microfilm and Papervision. And the public doesn't have access to that, so what we're going to do is part of our old records preservation is get from 1950 through 2006 onto our Odyssey, where everybody should be able to access public records on there. And that's going to be civil and criminal.
So for my line item, which was below that one, number 569, again, I'm only requesting 39,000. And that's to cover Fiddler, my records.
Don, you're nothing for you out of 569?
Out of
Operating equipment?
no, none of that. The only thing is the 635, 411. That's for the record, actual records preservation. That
And you have 76,000 there. If I had 14, 39, 3, and 20.
What? Can you repeat that?
I had 14,000, I forget what they're for. 39 was over there. 14, 3, and 20.
yes.
Oh,
And that was for shredded?
The 14 was for shredded, right?
Correct.
No.
And that's what we've used as of to date right now. You know, it's,
probably 20.
Do you have a total, Dawn, that you're requesting out of that line?
I left whatever the court administration put in there, and I just added 20 to it, the part that I needed, because I don't know what shred-it does. One month I pay $3,000, one month I pay $1,000. It varies, it depends on.
So you need, instead of it being 55,000, you're asking for 73,000?
Yeah. It's
That
got,
would
it's
be
got
like
50,
20.
it's got 59 in there. I got 59,988.
In Fund 28?
I'm seeing 39,988 on admin.
That's the recommendation. I requested 59,988. Did that not show up?
So then
Under
it's
635, 411. And then whatever Jackie is requesting.
So how much did you request on that one? Sorry.
So it seems that 411 is Dawn's, that's 37,000. And 569 is Jackie's, that's 39,000.
That's what I heard. The sheriff's department, this is countywide, everybody uses it.
Well, the
Yeah.
shred is countywide.
So does each department head pay for a portion of it?
I don't pay anything until shred, so I don't know who's covering that bill.
Okay.
That's why I don't have any.
So Jackie, your 569 is going to 39?
Yes.
And
What
that's
about
for,
13 for Bastion?
It looks like it was an input
That
error.
was an error.
Yes.
this is for
I moved
record
that over to the-
preservation, not shredding.
No, this is for, well, I guess in a way, yes. Well, my monies is for preservation. What I'm requesting is for the program for Fiddler to have it do
Right,
its thing.
so we're talking two different things, preserving them or shredding them, so. We don't want to get those in the same pile.
Yeah, I don't know. The shredded program.
Does the
was-
same company do both?
No, Fiddler
Okay.
does not. do
So
shredded.
why are we talking about them together?
Because shredded has been in there since I've been county clerk. Probably before that, I don't know when it was.
Your office doesn't use it, Jackie?
If it does, I don't know about it. I know I have shredded things and then maintenance comes picks them up.
That's what shredded is.
Well, then
We
that's,
destroy.
I don't do
we're to
anything.
find out who's putting what in there.
I know that my staff uses them.
Yeah.
So, was that your question?
Yeah. Do you, because Dawn said every department uses it. Is that what you said, Dawn?
Well, if there's a shredded bin, it's going to shred it.
Yeah.
It's countywide.
Right, so
Every office.
being as it's countywide, shouldn't that go through the treasurer's office instead of somebody's line item budget?
We should look at what the
I mean,
fund,
the
fund
the
description
auditor's
is, as far as the law goes.
Why
to
does one
see.
department
believe-
have to, does everybody pay a part? Or shouldn't it be a countywide bill?
Jackie's office and my office collect fees for every record that goes through our office.
Okay.
So those funds are used for preservation, or in this case, what happened, and Linda Eaker set this up many, many years ago, so it's been in place for probably 20 plus years. I don't know, Jonathan probably knows the history of it.
The reason is, this is a dedicated fund. So rather than have it come out of our general fund and general taxes, it comes out of fees, which is allowable to pull it out of this line item. That's why it's done the way it's done. And it's in Dawn's, because at that time Linda had the money and wasn't using her records.
And it was researched, my understanding, that this is allowable with those fees.
Right.
That's why it was done
And
that way.
that's why it's done, because it keeps it out of the general fund.
Correct.
Because the fee is collected to destroy the record.
Fees collected to do something.
The fees goes to a dedicated fund.
Well, and it's.
And to do what? If I pay a fee to the county,
It goes for a lot of things. It can go for a lot of record preservation things. Included in that is shredding.
I need my dedicated fund book. I can run and get it to you. It's by TAC, and TAC can spell out what that fund is specific for. I just need a minute to go and
I
get
don't
it.
think we need details.
No.
But-
Go ahead and dedicate.
If that was the question, I was gonna go grab some paperwork.
yeah, when somebody pays the county for something, that goes for a specific purpose, and it's
Right.
earmarked basically.
Correct.
It can be used only for that purpose.
And it has to be justified during budget season.
I'm just curious why it goes to the district clerk's office.
Well, our funds, it's being
We share
deposited.
it.
Yeah.
We share
We
it.
each collect a fee, most likely for the same purpose, but it goes into one fund. And so we have to talk to each other, okay, what are you doing with it this year? What am I doing with it this year? And we have to compromise or find other avenues, which I did today. So,
Those two control this fund, how the money gets spent, or we get to approve it, but they decide how it's spent. And at one point, the district clerk put shredded under her budget and it just stayed there. It's an allowable use of that money.
To me, it strikes me as if all the utility bills run through Doug's office. You know, we just say, well, we'll just run that through Doug's office.
It's just a matter of, is this a way to keep it out of the general fund?
You know, I'm not trying to give you extra work, Doug. Just trying to, it doesn't make any sense to me, but if somebody had to do it and somebody said, I'll do it, then, okay, I get it. That's it.
so I think I've completed presenting mine. I don't know if Dawn is next.
That is. I just wanted to clarify, I think there was an inputting error on, but on 28,635, 411, it should be, which Dawn is requesting is a total of 59,988. And then on the line item below, 28,635, 569, Jackie was requested a total of 39,000 instead of 55,000.
Okay.
You'll see that updated next time.
What's 411 again?
411 is
Oh, that's good.
59,988.
59?
59,988. And then the one below, 39,000.
Good.
Okay. Jack, can I get one left record our title?
What's the fund number?
Oh, I'm
I think
sorry.
she's done.
She's done. It's district clerk.
Okay. Good.
It's
This is
450.
450?
450.
Or 50? Okay. Done. Done 450.
Okay, I believe I lowered it, off of the administration recommended. Basically, I didn't need 450, 569, I zeroed that out. However, I did increase my postage line item, where I still have a $2,000 savings in the budget.
Pretty easy.
That's a wrap.
Anything else on 450? Good. And the next one,
I believe is jury.
jury?
434.
Now, this budget did increase a little bit. With the legislature ending, we're still waiting on some stuff. They're looking at increasing jury duty pay. Initial pay $20 when you first report, and then every day after is $58.
Excuse me, repeat that. Every day after.
Every day after that you report is $58, and then the state will be reimbursing us $52 back towards that. So I did increase that line item where it's jury pay to $35,000. I believe that'll cover what we need. I did talk to Tracy about it, as she pays out for us, so I did increase that $4,000. Also, the miscellaneous line item, I did increase that to $4,000 every year. I have to reconstitute the jury wheel, which runs about $3,000. So I felt like it needed to come out of the jury line item instead of my district clerk tech fund line item. So, because that is for the entire county, it's just not related to district clerks. So I felt like it needed to come out of the jury part.
Very good. Then moving on to district records management.
That is Fund 33. So tab 33.
Okay, and I think this is the same thing, Elda.
Okay, I can give you where I have them.
Let's see. then same thing here, look. So the budget that you have in front of you shows a zero requested amount. However, part of the records preservation that I'm trying to do through Terralogic is the entire project's gonna cost me about $48,000. So I was gonna take part of that from the 28 fund, and I'm gonna use the other part out of this fund, which is, I'm requesting $28,000 out of this dedicated fund that I haven't used in order to complete that project. So I'm gonna split it between Fund 33 and Fund 28 to complete this project. And that's the only request I have coming from there.
The next is what, County Law Library?
Fund 18.
And I really didn't touch this much because this is kind of a, we had to put money in it from the general fund because it's just, there's no way to sustain it because of the books, plus we're paying the monthly subscription to, for the Westlaw access, which runs $26.50 a month, and then now with the new legislature ending, the judges are probably gonna need new law books again, so I have no clue what that's gonna cost, so I just left whatever the admin recommended budget was basically in there.
I showed that you've requested $39,860.
It didn't go up.
And then the judge recommended 23,000.
Okay, then I did 8,000 in there for books, I think, is where that difference is. Is that right? Is that what you
The
showed?
difference is about 26,000.
About 16.
Why is mine different there?
This is the current. Yeah, this is our current. I think it's the way it was run.
Okay. Well, again, whatever the administration wants to do there, I'm not, because I think it's just gonna,
Looks like it was just the way it was run. So she's seeing that this year, the current budget was 37,000. It's about 37,000, 36,000. And then, the judge recommended budget is 23,000. So she's.
because if you keep the Westlaw intact as it is, that's $31,860 the monthly, paying that for the year. That's just Westlaw by itself.
Is there a consistent increase over the years that you can look at to gauge this?
Westlaw is very expensive, and the more users you put on it, the higher the rate goes.
There's no way of knowing on
I mean,
that.
every
Stuff
2
that we
years.
actually purchase and have upstairs. Or is all like, I know we still have to have actual physical books there, but we have some of them online as well.
The only thing we purchase are whatever the most current years of
Just
the
ask.
Connors are, and then the judges will turn their books in for the previous year, and that's what we keep in the law library. So we don't purchase anything strictly for the law library. We try to use their old stuff, and then they get online. We have an online subscription that they can, Texas Law Help, to look up stuff as well. That's free.
I mean, go back to 21-22, that would have been the last legislative time, but it takes time to get the stuff, books printed, it was 47,874 then, when you go back. It goes up and down every year depending on the legislature, so it seems to me that we probably ought to go 48,000 or so, based on what we did 2 years ago. Because it's all in books, and we're all the, I mean, that's on the line item that really changes.
legislature didn't get much done this year. I can't see it going up a lot, but.
Good point.
I mean, it goes up and down based on look.
Now, is that a subscription? You said it's a subscription base, it sounds like.
The West law is a subscription,
Okay.
an online
So-
subscription for the judges and the attorneys. They use that for research.
We don't have to pay for the attorneys, do we?
County attorneys?
Or the county attorneys? So you're talking about county attorneys and judges,
Judges.
which is a number we can determine. We know how many there are. So is it also then fee-based for use? You can't gauge it if you know how many subscriptions there are.
Well, currently we're maxed out on our subscriptions, so if we go over, which all the county attorneys in their office, they all use it. I don't know if Judge Kelly uses it or not. I believe he's on our subscription. All the district judges.
That's a number you can count, is what I'm getting.
Correct.
So if you know you have 20 people, 30 people, whatever it is, you know it's going to cost based on the subscription rate.
Right.
So how is it that we don't know how much it's going to cost you? You said, what is the part that's the unknown? I don't get that.
The books, whatever
The
the
books.
judges require in the books. That could be $150 a book. They can be $75 a book. They want them for each one of the courtrooms, and they want their own for their office. So you're buying 4 books. And if it's we got county court at law, we have the district judges, and if Judge Kelly requests any books, we cover those as well as the JPs.
Okay. And they're not required to do that.
They're not required, but they use them for when they're on the bench, the books.
Well, that seems like what I'm getting at. It sounds like a number you can count also.
Well, some
If
don't.
if you say every one of them could possibly request 4 books or whatever it is, then you can determine the number.
Well, some want the books, some don't. Like,
So you start off with a maximum figure, and you may not spend it.
and we try to get them to give us a big price break. You know, if you order X amount, they'll break the price down for you, but if you only
Good luck
order
with
2,
that.
you're paying $200 a book. If you order 7, you may get them for $80 a book. Sorry, everything costs, I can't.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what was the moving, you made it sound like a moving target.
Every year it is. Well, next year is not a legislature year, but
So we don't spend it.
you won't spend as much, but that they just finished, the books are gonna come out, it's gonna hit during the new budget.
The last time we went through it was almost 48,000.
And she's got 46 in there.
And 46 is fine. That's
Yeah.
close enough.
Does it look okay to you, Don?
Better.
Whatever y'all would like.
Yeah.
I try to save money, but on some things it's
Right.
very conservative. I've cut everywhere as I can cut, but sometimes you just can't.
That's good. But each year they don't meet, you should say you save this money. You should.
Don't order.
Okay, then the last one I think you've got is the district clerk tech fund.
And that one,
What's
I
the
did.
number?
44.
Huh?
44.
44. Right here.
I did put in 4,000 in there. Is that showing up?
Yes, it is.
Okay. But since I don't need that in there, so that can be zeroed out. The only thing I do need in there, I think is I believe I have to start paying for QuickBooks. So I believe the subscription is $800. So basically, is that what? If I can just leave it $1,000 instead of 4,000 in there, that would cover my QuickBooks that I have to pay for.
Good.
For my office.
Yeah. Like it.
Okay, that was big.
Okay. And the only other request I do have, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time, I did submit something for a part-time person in the district clerk's office. And And that's gonna be specifically for collections. We are backlogged on all our collections within our office, so I got with Rosa and she did a proposal, and I believe she got it to the auditor, for a part-time person working several days a week to help us in our collections, because there's a lot of money that needs to be collected that goes into the general fund that's not being collected because we just don't have the time to do it. So that is my only request. I did request that. And I mean, if that's at a later time, or I don't know if that was added in.
We told them if they wanted to, they can talk about it when we're here. We've actually got it on the budget for, I think, one of the workshops in July, to actually look at everyone who's made the request. So if you want them to come back at a later date also, that would be fine. But if they want to talk about it now, that's fine too.
Don, how much at any one time would we have out that need to be collected?
We probably have, with our civil and our criminal, probably easy $500,000 that needs to.
Part-time employee will get that?
If we have, yeah, I have a full-time employee that does that every day, and then my other staff does it when they have time. However, we've gotten to where we started doing payment plans and things like that, and so that's real time consuming, and so we've had real good success rate. Right now, we've collected mid-year almost $400,000 just on some things that we've done. So my compliance department is requesting a part-time person to help her on court dates where we get them into our office and they make payments after court, and that's been a really successful thing.
When the auditors were here last year, that is one of the revenues that they questioned on why did her collections go up over $90,000. So they've done a great job.
And you don't, I mean,
Let's see if we can go up $100,000 and Rosa can ask you.
we found that if you don't have someone contact these people, they don't pay.
So we do have someone that's on the phone. They're 8 hours that they're here, but she's overwhelmed. And what's lacking is we're not getting our civil end done, so now we need to get our civil end, and some of the judges are, we're just trying to get a lot of that stuff cleaned up instead of writing it off. There's money that needs to come into the
I'm
county.
in favor of it. I make sure that when we have that other workshop, make sure you bring it up again.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing to put in. How much are you asking for dollar-wise?
I'm requesting just at a, I believe it's whatever our 15-1 coming in at 15-1, just like a regular deputy clerk, but they're only gonna work 40 or 58 hours a week. And that's
week?
mainly,
A week, a month.
oh, sorry, yes. So,
Right now, it's the 15.
15.
yes.
Full-time is 36,982.40, and that's a full-time position though. So
Okay.
we would just,
It'll run about $36,000 a year, I think, what we came up with for that position with
that was
roll-ups.
full-time.
It'd be close to that, but then you don't have all of the benefits and all
Yeah. They get some benefits.
And we're gonna talk about it later on in July.
Okay.
Do you have an office available or desk space available, whatever?
I do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Sheriff. County Jail,
Department 512.
512.
512.
To give you a overall statement, my budget team and I did a really good job. Primarily consists of Captain Waldrop and my executive assistant hooting on this. We really spent many hours on here looking to see what we could do. We cut back some, we added some, we transferred some. So I think we really kept it down pretty well. And like I said, we'll go over the different areas, starting with the jail. Actually, had it not been for our WellPath medical services, we would have cut it for $590, which doesn't sound much. But the bad news is they went up $245,000, and we're going to talk about that. That's for WellPath, our jail services. Our contract runs out in September, and we're looking really hard at options. They've submitted a 1 to 3 year contract. And I'll explain what that is in a minute. And, they have the opportunity to go up a certain percentage. So WellPath is our medical services. We have options, but the bad thing, they're the best company. The jail is the biggest liability for this county over everything. It's huge. So what are options? One option is that we go hire our own nurses and doctor. I'm not in that business, nor do I want to be in that business. I have trouble even filling jailer positions, much less, we get traveling nurses, they're hiring at $100 an hour. I mean, we're just not going to be able to compete with that. So for me, that's not an option. The other option is, what do? We have nothing. Every time they holler something, we take them to the doctor, to the hospital. I don't have the jail staff for that. I have to maybe triple it. You know what I mean? One of the biggest things is handing out medication. Okay, pretty much that takes one nurse the whole time. We've got 220 inmates. How many, they no more finish what I've been told, and they're handling the second dose out, and then the third dose. That jump up at $245,000, almost 25% is unreasonable. That's crazy. I'm trying to get a phone call and have a meeting with them, but like I said, we're covered up to this September. I've got to quickly look at options, for the future, whether we stay with them. I'm going to be talking to 2 other companies in the next 2 weeks, but I have to put that in here because that's what we're at right now. That's what I'm faced. It's a good company. They do a good job, but that's just an unreasonable increase to me. But that was the only jump in the jail. Had it not been for that, we'd have went down.
That's line item 512-340.
Right.
But that's all I have. Other than that, I think we did a really good job maintaining. Oh, I did lower, one of the good things, did lower my jail food. I'm going to gamble. It's kind of going down. I lowered it $42,000. And that's what was able to eat up a lot of things. I went up on the smaller things. Went down on uniforms, no big deal, $230. But, the biggest one was the jail food. We're pretty, we're going to gamble and hope it stays down. Why are you laughing, Harvey?
I was just thinking about all the bologna sandwiches you're making over there.
Well, bologna and peanut butter.
Yeah, peanut butter.
That's our options at night. It's a jail, no motel.
Bring any with you?
I can get some over here.
I got some downstairs.
Anything else on the jail? Okay, let's move on to Sheriff's Department.
All right.
560?
Are we doing that one today?
Yes, sir.
What number?
560.
Let me, in the opening statements, these are, obviously I have the largest budget in the county. These are just my budget. What this does not include, and I'll be ready to talk at any time today or when we have the other workshops, this does not include 2 additional positions I'm asking for. One, reclassification or the first responder market adjustment. That is not in here. Those items are not. I'm prepared to talk about that whenever you're ready. So the jail budget. I think once again we did a very good job. To me, what it looks like, we went up $111,383. What y'all have to understand to start with is I have several maintenance contracts in there. Those maintenance contracts have went from 2.5 to 20% increases. It's crazy. But I want to give you the 5 things that made it go up to $111,000. And we did a lot of giving, taking, trading, but these are what are important. My maintenance contracts, jumped up $52,000. Okay, and I can kind of give you with that though. Part of that is some things we changed how we operate. And let me go to that. Is our watch guard system, which is our body worn cameras. That's about $20,000 a year. That's a new fee. So instead of us purchasing any more in law enforcement, what I see is more reasonable is to lease. You know what I mean? Because all our stuff gets worn out. We're in a 5-year lease. I've already come to the court and got that approved, but just so you know what this big increase was. $20,000 of it is for our body worn cameras. It's a 5-year program. In 3 years, they replace them. It includes the batteries for free, and storage and all that.
What number is that, Ilda?
That's going to be under 56452 is the actual line item. It breaks it all down. I'm just going to give you the big factors.
The emergency notification contract?
No, 560-457. Maintenance contracts.
457. Got it.
Okay, so the next one is our tasers. So your tasers are worn out liability-wise, once they're expired, they still work fine, but you don't get coverage through insurance. But so our taser is $28,000 a year, and compared to coming to y'all, hey, I need $150,000 to outfit us. I'm doing it on a 5-year contract, which they give the batteries, the cartridges. I think it's a much better deal. And excuse me, I forgot on the watch guard and the taser contract, that is countywide. That's not just the sheriff's office. That includes us, includes animal control and the constables. So, they are a small portion, but they are a portion of that. So that is why my maintenance contract jumped up $52,000. The next thing is the fiber optic line. This is the line that's going to be required to make our new radio system work. It's ran from the sheriff's department to Gators in San Antonio. I've only put in for 4 months of that new contract because we're anticipating getting up around the June or July area. I don't have a final price on that. I'm estimating $3,000 a month for that. Hopefully we're working on some DIR pricing, but that's about the best and safest estimate I thought at this time. I wouldn't see it going over that.
What number is that?
That is 560, 467, radio communications.
So 6 months worth.
Okay. The next one is training. Training's up 11K. Harley, you can do, and that's what I do. I'm looking. The reason that jumped up, I'm looking at putting 2 guys through the Peace Officer Academy through the sheriff's office budget, and 2 guys through the jail budget. The new thing nowadays, you know what it means, is for just like a lot of this is just like what Road and Bridge is going through. Although ours is way more expensive. To put somebody through the academy, it's $3,800. And and then 6 months worth of time, he's going under our tab, come out 3-4 months of break in time. So you can make them sign a 36, some people are doing 36 months, 3-year contract that they'll stay with you. I think the PD's at 3 or 4 years. Is that worth the paper, what it's worth? Can we make them pay? Well, we'll do everything we can, but you can't make them do it. It really would upset me. You put this time and this money in the guy and he goes somewhere else. But, we try to keep him happy. Also come with that is attractive salary. So you can't do that. That's what we're doing. I've got 2 guys out today that have come through that. I got 2 guys in right now and 2 more guys fixing to go through it. You just lose about a year. That's a bad thing. But we've got a homegrown our own is what it looks like. And now using the jail really picked up the morale in the jail because most of those guys want to get out on the road. So it's kind of a feeder system. Our capital lease went up $18,000. Those Tahoes are skyrocketing. To outfit them are skyrocketing. We wanted 6 Tahoes this year to stay in compliance with our program. We visited, we made our hard cuts. We think we're going to only ask for 3 just because of the price increase, but the capital lease is where the $18,000 comes from. All these items are what I'm telling you is going to make the $111,000 that we went up, which I think is extremely reasonable for the sheriff's office. $8,000 for bulletproof vest. We're going up. Let me explain to y'all, and I think, Let's, you mentioned it. It's a frustration hiring these people and them not working out. So let me just talk about the jail. When we hire somebody, we don't know if they're going to work out or not. But it costs me $1,000 just to go through the little process, psychological background testing. Then they go in the jail. Hey, we don't have OJT on the job training. If you don't like it, you know what I mean, or you leave. So we invest time. We put them through the jailer school and all that stuff. But we have to get them a staff vest. Okay, is a staff vest expensive? To me, no. It's $550, $600. But when that guy quits, that goes in the closet, okay? And we try to use them against stuff, but we spend a lot of time and money. But when you get over to patrol, these vests are $1,100, $1,200. The grant we get that pays for half of this, that has to be specific, measured to that person, okay? Well, what do? Well, we throw them in the closet because, it takes you 3, 4, 5, 6 months to get a vest today. And we use the best we can, but just if anything ever happened, it's going to go back, was that vest fit for that guy? So in anticipation of us filling all of our spots, we get the added spots. I think that was the reason with those vests, it went up to about $1,100 to $1,200 a vest. So those items right there make my $111,000, which I think is it's not bad. And that's it. I'm open for any questions you may have. Other than that, we just switched money around. I'm sorry. To cut, I cut some gas money. It's not a whole lot. Cut $5,000. I did everything I could. I would have cut more. I do not feel comfortable with the eclipse coming up. I'm not too worried about the partial eclipse, but I am very worried about the total eclipse. Every single man with a gun and badge will be out for, probably a 72-hour period. Not at one time, but we will have every person out, and that's not going to be enough. We'll figure that out. So we're going to burn a lot of gas at that time. That's it.
I have a question about the radio repairs. That's until we get the new system. You're just anticipating, because we're gonna lease stuff after that, right?
Yeah, we're in the process of ordering, it's way behind like anything else, but it's coming. Yeah, radio repair, yes, sir. We still got the 20-year-old radios, still gonna have pretty much throw them away, but we're still buying antennas, we're still getting reprogrammed. We're gonna get there this next year.
Well, once we have the new system, it's a lease program, right?
Let's see. No, we're purchasing that stuff. The radio, that's where the $7 million, you can't lease under that. No. Yeah, it's purchased, it's ours.
There's something about that was an upgrade that is a lease. What part of that contract am I?
Not the our tasers releasing, our body worn camera systems releasing, but that's ours.
The body.
Yeah, that is a 5-year lease. They replace them. Also, we went to the cloud, which is going to help IT, we hope, right? Tremendously. It's going to be a really good system. But it's very expensive, unfortunately, but we're mandated to have that. You good?
Yeah.
All right. That's it.
Sheriff's Annex.
Okay.
564.
Let me find that real quick. Okay, 564, went up $2,000. Utilities, when I say utilities, that's not just electricity, that's city water, sewer, Time Warner. I don't know, Jonathan, I don't know if you got Bandera Electric, I got that nasty letter, I'm very upset about it. 13% increase, who knows? That's just for the electricity part. 2,000 I think is fair to, hopefully stay within it. That's ridiculous, I think 13%. What do you do?
Yeah, so donation fund.
That is 172.
Okay. Basically, I just took, that's our funds we're going to use. Did you have a specific question about it? It's pretty.
It's just on the list.
Okay.
You have the same?
Yeah, you have a question, you should fire away.
And I don't see anything on concerning about this. The issues. Okay. SCAP grant.
That's 173.
And, visit with Tanya, we had a really good meeting, and she kind of explained some things, how to operate a little better, more efficient. We basically taken that money and dividing it up, and we intend on using it for some different items inside the jail. That's why we're able to lower some of the jail items, but this is how I split it up and what it looks like.
Okay. Next is SO Law Enforcement.
SO Law Enforcement.
That is 182.
This is our forfeiture account. Basically, just kind of divided it up in case we run out of money somewhere. That's how I intend on using it. It's kind of what we have our seized assets, kind of took and divided up and put it in these different categories in case we needed it.
Okay.
Sir, how much our forfeitures, it seems like they're increasing, far more than they used to.
You're dang right. Yeah, every one of those vehicles I seize, like I said, I don't care if I get $100, we're seizing them. Hope it. I look for it for another year or two. Get a new president. I think it's going to slow down a lot. That's just how
That's the only hope.
Yeah. But that's we're to continue.
Okay. Courthouse security.
I think that one is just.
You got a number for Bill, though.
Oh, sorry. 29. Oh, sorry.
29, yes. Flip backwards.
Y'all ready? Oh, we got it. $913, really reasonable. That's just maintenance contracts that are for the courthouse. I have it's out of my control. It's anywhere, like I said, from 2.5% normally to 5%. Some have went 20%, but this one did. These are reasonable. So $913 increase to run the courthouse. There's one new one we need to talk about.
Sure, before the courthouse security, Where are we on the courthouse security that was planned for the bond issue that didn't happen? We're looking at increasing, going to fobs, what do you call them? The doors, looking at the number of exits we have, entrances we have, not a good situation. And do you have any plan to do any
Well,
work or?
what we have, I provided, I think it was sent an email to the judge, it's about $55,000. I recommend we do that to the court. I'll come for you anytime, and we do that immediately out of ARPA funds, I said. Basically, what's happening right now at my annex, or the annex, where SOD, CID, the DAs, and probation they're starting to fail. The fobs are starting to fail. So we're issuing keys. We've been buying a lot of keys. I don't like that as far as an audit system. Can somebody get somebody a fob? Yes. But I mean, we can cut that fob off immediately. Keys get handed out, I don't know, I don't like that. What I'm being told by Guardian is that to make that work, the brain here has to be fixed. Okay, and Bruce can help me out, he knows a lot more than me. It just happens to be under my budget. But anyway, so we need to get that done, and that's a start. In doing it, it's $55,000, but that will allow us to expand. It's one of my main things I want. We can expand to Ingram, we can expand to the animal shelter, whatever you want to do. So that's probably something, it's not just a patch, it's more of a fix, but we need to do that probably as soon as possible.
Does that price include the brain surgery?
Yes. It's new server. Yes.
To me, that sounds like a bargain compared to what the estimate was for Ingram alone.
Right.
So.
Now, Don, that is not doing Ingram.
I understand.
Okay, but that's capability to do Ingram.
When we
Capability to do that,
quote
yes, yeah.
For just Ingram.
Yes, sir.
It was like 20, wasn't it, Bruce, somewhere?
I think that's close.
If we have a power failure, if we have a server down, we can't get in or out of the building?
Yes, sir.
Access still?
Well, yes, sir, a key.
Do what?
Key.
Yeah, well, a key always works, so why go to the fob?
You have an audit trail. That's the biggest thing, who's coming in and out.
So it's still a key? Is that what you're saying? It's like
It's
a
just
new
an
car
electronic
key,
key.
it's still a key?
Yeah.
Does it open the door?
Yes, sir.
It's a metal key.
No, it's like a.
It's an electronic key that can fail.
Almost like a little motel,
Yeah.
similar.
It's like, a lot of it.
You're adding a fail point to you can get keys that can't be duplicated. You can have locks that have keys that cannot be duplicated.
Correct, they can be shared. I mean, we already have the system, but I certainly wouldn't want to do away with it. We're just kind of upgrading. I mean, it's 20 years old, like what they say, the other shelf life. But I agree with what you're saying, but it's a good way to audit. And like I said, if somebody's terminating any kind of issue, you can immediately turn that off. As far as getting a key, we've had to go to officers' houses when we fired and go get their key out. I mean, the fob, hey, keep it. It cost me $5, but cut it off. But it's pros and cons.
Yeah.
So Judge, and another workshop, we're gonna talk about all, that'd be a capital item, right?
It sounds pretty reasonable to me.
I thought chokingly. Looted.
That was a hard no.
Stuff in Ingram, and then look at this place.
Yeah, look at this. Egress points. How many do we have?
Oh, man.
Look at
Better
that.
than?
I can get started, Piper. Yeah. Still buildings in our rooms are finding it enough.
The last one I've got on here says unclaimed capital credits.
Judge, if we can insert fund, or Department 630, this is where we moved Dove's to for all of the expenses for the emergency management.
I was wondering why
So
he was here.
let me tell you, Dove's just here for himself, but don't worry about that. He's worried about this one. What I did is, I felt more comfortable. I didn't think it was fair to my budget. My understanding is Dove was picked up by the sheriff's office, which is a very good deal. I think most places, emergency management is a separate department or division. But anyway, the bad thing, he was picked up, which is a good thing. The bad thing, he wasn't provided a budget. Dove cost me a lot of money. Okay, Dove cost me a lot of money. So I don't think that's fair to my budget, so I got got with the auditor and asked, can I have, I know it's another budget, another line item, but I asked, can I have my own so I can track a budget, what he cost me to have him around. But, but simply it wasn't a big raise. We basically, they pulled his salary out, his vehicle, his gas, his uses. There was a little bit more on that, but I think it's very minimal for that service. But that's kind of how this come up today. That way I can track that stuff more. We can add and increase and decrease as needed.
It makes sense.
The first responders are paid out of this also. So the last line you see there,
Right.
and y'all may see it again if they want to come back and talk about their.
And that's it.
And Jody, I think this probably help with the grant applications, that emergency services sector. Okay.
That's it.
Look at that, anything on there? Okay. Unclaimed capital assets?
Fund 49.
Basically, this starts housekeeping a little bit. So it's 23,000. This is the money that comes in from people that do not cash in. I believe it's mainly their electrical dividends that they get out, that they receive every year. So they're turned over to the state. So we ask the state if they would send us an amount, and they do every year. This is used to pay a portion of the Economic Development Corporation amount that we pay annually. And it is one of the acceptable uses.
Okay, you got that done.
We can do more. I have more ready, or we can stop and we can add them to a different one.
Well, it is, we need to start having lunch occasionally, It's exactly good for us. Y'all want to keep going, or?
How many more do you have to let you cut through?
That's half a dozen more.
Probably. They should be pretty fast.
Okay, yeah, we can do fast ones.
Okay, so if I start with the 216th District Court, the 198th District Court, and the Drug Court, that's 435, 436, and 437. There are no changes to those.
Okay.
So just to bring your attention, alternate dispute resolution is Fund 40, or tab 40. There are not any changes to that. The money that comes in here are collected from fees from the district clerk, county clerk, and the JPs, and it's used to pay for our mediation. We have a contract with somebody that offers mediation.
Okay, that didn't change. Drug court, did we do that one?
I did that one, there are no changes.
And the justice court building security?
So that is tab 13 that you'll see there. Basically, there's money in fund balance. These are just security improvements at a justice court building. We receive very little money from that.
Okay. Toronto Road Trust?
That is 71. We receive money from this in revenues, but we are not spending any of the money at the current time. In the last 3 years, this has moved to be under the county as a separate fund. Before that, it was being managed outside, and so the fees of that, between the tax return and some other fee that was being charged, it was eating into the corpus, and so we brought it out now, and we're saving up the interest right now, so it builds the trust amount, the original principal amount back up.
Okay, that was done. Opioid settlement fund?
79. So this is from the settlement. We have received $68,577 in the current budget year. So that leaves $247 left for for next year, and we've got that we may spend all 315,000. There's not projects that have been identified for this as of right now.
That has specific uses, correct?
Correct.
Like what? Treatment or something.
Has to be related to,
Yeah.
treatment.
We may be able to use that for drug court, so.
Yeah.
Okay, then we go to the debt funds.
Yes.
The,
If I can talk probably from the summary, we can look at the individual funds if you want in the back. But if you'll look at your summary, to me, it's almost easier to look at the very front of your book.
okay,
And so basically, we've got $167,700 that we believe will be our fund balance starting the year. We will need tax revenue of $3,187,000. We'll receive, we believe, another $80,000. That's from the hookups from the East Kirk County wastewater treatment plant. I believe it's $2 a month, if I'm not mistaken, that comes into the county toward that.
$20.
Okay. And so, anyway, that's turned over to us monthly as it's collected by the Kendall County wastewater. I can't think of what they're called.
Kendall County WCID, Kendall County WCID, number 1.
Thank you. And so total revenues, $3,267,000. The debt and the fees that are charged by the people that are holding the money in escrow for all of those, $3,223,340. And so if you add the over/under revenues that we expect to get are about $44,000, add that to our beginning fund balance, we'll end the year somewhere around $211,000.
and that covers the 2015 jail bond, the TWDB, EKCP construction, COs, Lake Ingram State Road District, 2023 limited tax bonds, 2021 tax note, and the 2020 refunding bonds.
Judge, it covers everything except for 63, the Lake Ingram Estates Road District.
Okay,
That's one of the special taxes that got their note that is being paid, but the people that pay that are the people that live in that road district, and we do budget that separately.
and it's
So,
budgeted down below, I see. Road districts?
yes. So that is 63. And so we've got that next year, we're gonna collect about 21.5 in taxes, and then we're gonna pay out about 22.8.
Okay. Anything else for today?
No, sir.
Busy day. Okay, with that, then we will be adjourned.